bunch of stuff. Let me just double check. Really quick. Hello, everyone. We should be live on the No Life YouTube and Twitch. Twitch.tv/NoLife_digital. We got a great show for you today. Cyberpunk in the headlines. It's released. It's making waves. Things are going nuts. Lots of drama. We are live. We're good to go. We're at 1440p resolution, 30 frames per second. Bitrate streaming at nearly 8,000 kilobits a second. We're coming at you. Welcome to No Life Digital Podcast. You guys know how it is. You know what it do. So we're going to talk about Cyberpunk. We're going to talk about the PS5. We're going to talk about what else do we have here? The Game Awards. The Game Awards that went over.
Oh yeah, we got to go over that. I was just going to chime in that we're actually streaming at a higher bit rate than you can actually play on Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's very true. Apple, and then in tech we have some Apple stuff and Nvidia drama. Have you seen the Nvidia drama with hardware and box, Jerry?
No, but
all right,
well, it's probably dumb.
It's insane. It's fucking crazy. And then that's it. So lots of Cyberpunk. All right, I am promising you guys right now. So this is what's gonna happen. Next week there's no show. And then the week after, should we do a show the week after, or should we take 2 weeks? We'll probably take 2 weeks off and we'll come back in the new year. New year, new show. We're going to have a brand new show format, and that's going to kick off that new 2021. So hopefully we figure out exactly what we want out of it.
All going to be chugging gamer fuel pre-workout the entire time.
Caffeine.
That's No Life presented to you by G Fuel.
Yeah, we will be sponsored by G Fuel. Specifically, Keemstar's flavor of G Fuel. He told me
G Fuel and Gamer Girl bathwater.
Yes. No, I was gonna say Gamer Subs is better. Or if we get that Ghost Gaming partnership from GNC, that works too. we're open and available to all of them. They're all just pre-workout, and it's great.
Yes. All right, let's get into this. Okay. Let's start off with the PS5. I got the PS5 in. The way that I got it in was my brother works in retail, and they got in such a low limited supply that his boss was basically like, look, we'll just have everyone that wants one in the store buy one, and whoever we'll give whoever their family and friends, you know, if they have one or two family and friends that want one, we'll sell them to them first, get rid of our inventory that we have, and then whatever we get next, that's what we'll put in stock. So I got lucky. I was able to get one at cost, and it was pretty simple. They shipped it right to me. I didn't have to go pick it up from my brother, and I was pretty happy about that. Other than that, I think they're still selling for like $1,300 on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, eBay. They're at that. I mean, let's look at the eBay pricing really quickly.
I put it in the news actually. eBay in November. 33,000 units sold, about $19 million in profit.
In just PS5s?
In just PS5s.
Oh my God. It's a thriving industry. I'm happy for all my scalping brothers. Keep scalping away. You are providing the world a great service. And I truly mean that unironically. Yeah, I mean, they're going for like, you can get them for like $1,000 right now. Some are going for a little cheaper than that. You'll probably see this start to drop once we get into January. From what I've been hearing, the consoles aren't really that much of an issue anymore. They're not going to be an issue after the holidays. It's really the GPUs that are still like, you just can't get anything. 3060 Ti's you can pretty much get, and I think the 3070s should be a little bit easier to get. But the 3080s, the 3090s, and all the AMD GPUs, they're pretty much impossible to get, and you won't start to see that demand or that supply reach the demand until around March. That's an estimate. So, and that's like marketing speak, so who knows? It might not be until the summer when you can actually just like go to a store and get one, which sucks because I mean, everyone wants these new GPUs. They're kick-ass. They're at a pretty good price, and unfortunately, they just can't make enough of them. And everyone's stuck inside, so everyone wants to play games and stuff. Your best bet. The best way, I was able to secure a 3070 through, they have stock drop bots now. And you can follow the stock drop bots on Twitter. There are Discord groups where basically they're bot creators and they're creating bots for consumers to use. The problem is like thousands of people are now in these groups. So it kind of becomes like whoever the fastest is still, and they're still really difficult to get. But that's your best option other than just waiting it out. So it's really, you either wait it out. You really don't want to, I personally wouldn't spend the markup on these devices. Like, let's see how much a 3080 is going for. I mean, they're going for like 1,200. Yeah. They're going for 1,000. I mean, same price as a fucking PS5, which is, I mean, it's these markets are nuts. I wouldn't spend that. No. The highest markup, maybe $900 for like a.
If it's an aftermarket card, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Like, because then when you're you know, it's $100 or so. It's like, all right, I'll give you the $100 since I can get it now. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
more
than
that, that's a hard sell.
I mean, if it's like a For the Win 3, you know what I mean? That's gonna cost $120 more than MSRP, anyways.
Yeah.
So if you're paying $50 more than that, it sucks, but that's at least closer to a normal price.
Yeah. And that's if, you know, really the reason you would want one is to play Cyberpunk. You know, or unless you just have like a real shit GPU that you've been waiting to upgrade for a few years now, which I'm sure is the case for a lot of people. A lot of people still with like 970s.
That's my case, but I'm still going to wait. If you need one right now, you can still buy like a 5070 for like $100.
Yeah.
You'll be able to play anything but Cyberpunk at 1080p, still high, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely...
That'll hold you off. Do GeForce Now for 3 months.
Actually, that's probably your best option. Is to just do like a streaming service, because they're actually really fucking good right now. GeForce Now, unfortunately, with Cyberpunk, there's like you have to do like a queuing thing, because there's only a limited amount of servers that they allow you to use. But I mean, that's your best option instead of spending $1,200 for a 3080, which, you know, in a few months is going to be back down to $700. You don't want to be that guy who just, unless you have the money, you know, some people don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to spend your money that way, do it. But like otherwise, GeForce Now actually works really good.
Yeah.
And it play almost your entire library for it'll cost you $30 to do that for 3 months instead of $400.
Yeah. I did it the other day for the first time in a while. Since it first released, I tried it out and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. But there was a lot of jank involved. And the way they did it was like they gave you a virtual PC essentially. The way it is now is a lot more like a Netflix on demand. You still have to go into you still have to own the games, and you still have to go into this weird sort of like proxy service, but much more streamlined, and the latency is much lower than it once was. I mean, it's on par with Stadia, and Stadia is really good. So try it out. You might want to try it out. It's better than playing it on a PS4 or an Xbox if you're playing Cyberpunk. But there's my tip for you. There are ways you can get this stuff if you try. So if you're that person who has a lot of time and you're willing to actually put a little bit of effort in, you might be able to secure one. I was able to get a 3070 pretty quickly with just a little bit of effort. And if you try a little harder, you can actually make a bot. There's this guy who, I forget the name of the bot, but if you search for it, it's pretty easy to find, and you can just install it. And it's essentially a Best Buy, Amazon, Walmart scraper. And anytime it just gets updated, it adds it to your cart, and you're good to go. And it's not very difficult to set up. All right. That's out of the way. Let's get into, we were talking about the PS5. It's fucking sick. There's 2 games that you can play on it that are PS5 games. There's Spider-Man and Demon's Souls, which I'm fine with because I love both of those games. I'm running through Demon's Souls right now. I played a little bit of Miles Morales, which was cool because when I got it in, Miles Morales Spider-Man came with a update that gave it 60 frames per second with ray tracing on, and it's like a lock 60, which is pretty fucking dope. So I was really impressed by what I've been seeing with the PS5. The best thing about it, and you've probably heard this before, but the controller is the best. It's, in my opinion, the best case for the PS5 over the Xbox. The haptics and the what are they called? The force feedback on the triggers is so cool. It's so cool. It's exactly how you would expect it to be. So say you pick up a bow, like in Demon Souls, when you pick up a bow, the motors and the trigger make it feel like you're pulling a bow, and it's so quick that as soon as you swap to a different weapon, then the triggers feel differently. It's really cool how they do it. They have this Astro's Playroom, which is like a tech demo for the controller, and it shows you it just basically does all these cool tricks with the controller and what you can do with it. That's the best case over the Xbox because in terms of like power and fidelity, they're pretty much similar.
I
And
know some
exclusives.
people who have put Astro's Playroom in their top 10 games of the year.
It's really cool. It's really, really cool. And it's a real game. It's not like a fake
Yeah.
game, you know?
Yeah, it's cool that they made an actual game out of what is essentially just a tech demo originally. And
Right.
they fleshed it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I called it a tech demo because that's technically what it is. Because I mean, it's not. It's technically a game, but it's also a tech demo for as a showcase for the controller. Like there's this one part where you have to like use this rocket ship, and I mean you would really have to use all your force to like fully depress the trigger. That's how much force feedback there are in these triggers, and you feel like this like rumbling on your trigger fingers that makes it just makes it more connected to the game. And I can't wait to see what other games utilize this, like
Trying to remember,
Horizon and shit like that.
The last time we had that in a game, like at least for controllers, let's like go back to Sunshine on the GameCube, but the GameCube controller has those like you could tell how hard you were pressing it. Not
Yeah.
like what it is now, but
Right.
for the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
know what you
not
mean.
a lot of
Yeah.
controllers. I'm almost known to the controllers afterwards.
No.
Bothered to do it.
No. It's really fucking cool. Like I said, like I can't wait for like God of War to utilize because we're really not going to see it in any sort of cross-platform game, I don't think, mainly because Xbox and PC don't have that feature. Unless some controller comes out and they do allow it. But like Horizon and God of War, it just really just adds to the experience. It's really hard to explain, but there's a reason why people are gushing over it. It's
Not
really
to
cool
mention-
tech.
Finally, the death to the freaking mini USB, micro USB.
Oh yeah.
I hate it on my PS4 because
Yeah.
no matter what cables I use, my PS4 controller does not want to play nice with the micro USB to charge.
Also, battery life with this controller seems a lot better. So I don't know if you remember the PS4 battery was like
10 hours max. God,
yeah,
maybe
10
8.
hours if you're lucky, man. Like
Yeah, if you're lucky.
I have to charge it after every playthrough. So 4 hours maybe I would have to charge it.
Yeah, it's bad.
But this is a lot better. I maybe charged it once since I've gotten it.
And it's USB-C, so it's just better in general.
The capture stuff is way better. I like to do a lot of game capture. I have a bunch of capture cards, but I was like, let me see what the internal capture is like. I'm probably going to actually do a video on it because I don't know. I like that stuff. And what PS5 is doing is not as good as what I'm seeing Xbox is doing. And I kind of want to highlight it. So there's two formats. You can do MP4, but only till 1080 60 if you want to do like a 4K 60 HDR recording. It drops you into WebM, which is a really odd format to utilize, especially for like gaming footage. But I do like how it's implemented, and I like how quick you can just get into recording.
That's the first thing I'm going to do when I get my PS5 in is test out my AverMedia, the 4K 60 capture.
Yeah, I haven't had an issue, but I haven't tried it with a 4K monitor or TV. I've only did it with my PC, so I don't know how it'll be with a pass-through. I would imagine you need an HDMI 2.1. You would need two of those cables. You would need one to go. I don't know if the pass-through does HDMI 2.1. That's something I'd have to look up. I'll probably go over it in that video. Yeah, overall it's really cool playing a game in, I'm going to use quotes, 4K at 60 frames per second on the couch. We haven't had that experience. You know, there's many times where I've moved my gaming PC rig to the TV just to do some like, you know, playing Witcher 3 at the highest quality set. It's like you are in that era now where we don't have to worry about that. Like these new consoles should be able to produce that quality and that fidelity to your gaming experience. It's really now just like, let's see. And that's kind of why I like the PS5 right now, because it's like, Well, now you also get a really cool controller and haptic feedback. I haven't tried like the audio stuff. I haven't gotten any of that in, but I am excited to see the future of these next gen platforms. They're really powerful, and they're pretty cool.
So when are you testing 8K?
When I figure out how to do it, I'll test it out for you. I
When
can
you,
probably
Forward an
simulate
8K
it.
monitor.
I would love to
We'll-
simulate it.
We'll test it when I win a 3090 and
Yeah.
realize that I did the Gleam IO under the No Life Digital Twitter account, not my own personal.
Wait, what did you do?
Signed up for a 3090 giveaway, but it was in the No Life account,
Oh, that's all good. Hopefully you get it. And we can all share it.
right?
um,
That's
one-
that's when we'll have our 8K tests out. 'Cause that's the only way you're gonna get one at this point. Let's be real.
yeah. Um, I just lost what I was gonna say about it. Yeah, I'm super impressed with it. I'm excited to see where it goes. You know, I'm pumped with where gaming's at right now, especially with Cyberpunk. So let's get into Cyberpunk. So have you guys played it at all? I don't think you guys have played it, right?
Dude, this has been the hard part of them delaying it, as WoW also got delayed. So like this right now, I'm watching the Race to the World first. The Race Mythic Raid just came out today. The Raid Normal and Heroic just came out last week. So this
Right.
has been a WoW week for me. I know Cyberpunk's really big. I'm gonna buy it, but this is I gotta do it this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they drop on the same day? Or did
No, but close. It was last Tuesday,
yeah, it was pretty.
and I think
close, remember that.
Cyberpunk was 2 days after.
Yeah. Well, I will say, unless you have, I would say, a GTX 1080 or above, I wouldn't play it. I just wouldn't play it. I can't. I'm at the around like the my settings right now are 1080p. I'm playing on a 1440p monitor. I have to run it in 1080 if I want, and then I kind of boost everything else. So all like the
Yeah.
shadow stuff, all
You
the
should be able to do high at least, though, right?
well, I have like a lot of the ambient occlusion all the way up. All the texture stuff is all the way up. All the level of detail. It's just like the volumetric stuff and some of the other weirder options I have around medium. And I'm getting around 50 to 60 FPS. It's a very demanding, but it is fucking beautiful. And I'm gonna play some footage here. It runs. It's beautiful. It's a fucking beautiful. It's probably the best looking game I think I've ever played. And I
Well,
don't think it's that far out to say something
I
like
was
that.
I was sharing what testers were coming out as like recommended systems for it, and it's kind of amazing to me. It's kind of beautiful in a way to me, but it's this game is Crisis.
It's
Like it
so
was like
intense.
hey, do you want to play 1080p 60 frames per second on medium? Spend $350 minimum on your
yeah,
graphics card.
yeah. Like I was like, okay, a 1080 Ti, it should be
1080
able to play
Ti is like
1080.
your
like
No, that's
above
like
60.
your minimum for ultra. It's like
Yeah.
a 1080 Ti.
Yeah, yeah. It's but it still looks great too. Like even if you were to drop it down, it still looks great. It's really when you start to the reason why the consoles and some lower gen hardware looks so bad is because they're dropping the settings, they're dropping the resolution, but they're also dropping the
Everything.
the density. Like there's a density scaler. So it's like when you walk into the city on console, it's completely different than what I'm experiencing on PC. The resolution is tied to the texture resolution. They're not separate. So if your resolution is at 1080, it looks completely different than a resolution at 4K or 1440 because there's no just like separate texture pack that they have. It's all tied to the resolution. It's
Yeah.
very demanding. But
Well, that and
I do
everything else.
like that about the game. Like we were
Oh, this
talking
is-
before, I like that aspect of
Yeah.
games.
I kind of do too, because this is, I mean, that's harking back to The Witcher 3. Like, it took 3 years to actually see The Witcher 3.
yeah.
Like-
yeah, you just I mean, it was an intense game and it wasn't as buggy as this release, but it
Yeah.
was super fucking buggy.
Well, that's a different thing. Is like, we'll get into the bugs and stuff, and that's a different conversation. But like,
Yeah.
for it being a graphics powerhouse, like, hey, dude, I'm on board. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome to me.
Yeah.
It's like that is kind of cool. Where it's like we've talked about how great the new 3060 Ti is, the 3070, like the 3080s, that like those are all fantastic. They're twice as fast as the older cards, basically.
Yeah.
The 3070 is a 2080 Ti, and that will get you 60 frames medium at 1440p.
Yeah. Which is fucking
Medium.
pretty cool. And you're not gonna, and like, I don't want you to think that it's gonna look bad either. Like, it's still gonna look amazing, but you're not, there's still more you can get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
there's
like,
still like that upper echelon that you can
A
kind of,
3090 cannot play this game at max settings and get over 30 frames per second.
at 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you'll average probably about like 35 frames per second.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious to know how much patching is it's gonna help it. I mean, it's definitely gonna help it, but we're gonna see, like,
And that's without ray tracing. Too, by the way.
yeah, I really just,
All of that's without ray tracing.
oh yeah. As soon as you turn ray tracing on, it's a different, I mean, you essentially have to DLSS it, and then
Yeah.
and then it's a different resolution. Is kind of just like a fake number at that point.
If
By
you
the
wanna
way,
run
we're
this game
streaming
ray
in
tracing-
we're streaming in 30 frames per second. This is actually running at 60, but it's because you're streaming in 30. It looks like it's 24 frames or 30 frames. Go
Yeah.
ahead. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, if you want to play ray tracing, you have to have a 3080 minimum.
You have to.
Pretty much.
You have to.
Unless your DLSS is really good and you're okay with playing 1080p.
Yeah, I'm gonna, when I get the 3070, and I'll do some testing to see how well the 3070 does with it, because I'm assuming that's gonna be the most popular card
With
out of these.
DLSS, I think it does fine. Does fine. Is basically what I've been able to see.
Yeah.
If you're at 1440p. If you knock it down to 1080p, I'm sure you'll be able to do ultra DLSS, full ray tracing, all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I just want to see how much better. I mean, from some of the other streamers who have like 3080s and 3090s with the ray tracing on and all the bells and whistles, it's just like visually, it's possibly the most impressive game ever created. It's so fucking. If you remember how detailed The Witcher 3 was, they take it to a completely different level with this game, and that's one thing that I don't think is getting translated well into a lot of these reviews. It's a very immersive RPG, sort of like almost like a tabletop RPG where there's a lot of dialogue. A lot of it is you just kind of walking around and getting immersed and kind of just tripping out a little bit. Less so of the action. There are certainly action parts, and there's certainly a lot of, shooting shit and doing a lot of stealth stuff. But I mean, for the most part, my playthroughs is just like, I want to know where this quest line is going, and I need to talk to all these different people, all these optional side areas. I want to know who these NPCs are, who they're dealing with, what world are they living in. Everything is so fleshed out. Like, there was this one mission where I had to meet, there's this cop, and something happened with this cop, and you have to go figure out more about this cop. And you go into his apartment, and like his apartment is in this fucking building, and it's so detailed. And every different scenario that you go to with every quest, anytime there's like an actual quest given to you, whether it's a side quest or a main quest, it's just like detailed. Like, they hand placed every fucking item, and every area you go to, there's a different sort of like ambience to it. It's really, really impressive, the level of immersion that it goes through. And I think my favorite aspect of this game so far is the writing. Like, I think the writing, what I really wanted to say is, like, I'm going to spoil a little bit here, but I'm going to do my best to not make sure, like, nothing too major is spoiled. So if you don't want to hear it, turn it off. But there's this person that you meet, and you get into one of the most adult-themed, twisted, most fucked up quest lines I think I've ever played. And it's done really, really in a dark way, and it's held really, it's acted really maturely, and the performances are amazing. The writing is so good. You're dealing with hacking the dark web, where you find these Russians who are putting together some torture porn style operation, and you have to figure out what's going on in this area, and you're just diving into the most hardcore places. And what made me excited when I was playing, I was like, finally we're getting like adult content games. We're not getting like baby fucking bullshit. Like Call of Duty kind of was, erring on that side, but they would always pull back because obviously they don't want to take it too far. This game doesn't care about that. Like it goes that extra length to really just dive you into like, this is Night City. This is a fucked up world. Fetishes, like everything is fetishized. Everything is sexual. Everything is over the top. And we're just gonna fucking give it to you raw. And I love that about this game. I couldn't ask for better. What's the word? Like mise en place. Like I couldn't ask for a better setting and a better sort of like writing narrative around this. Super impressed by it. But the problem about this game, the reason why I'm a little bit worried, is like a lot of the mechanics just don't feel very good. So driving doesn't feel very good. The AI driving is almost non-existent. The crafting is done in a really stupid way. Like the way that they have a lot of the sort of like extra RPG fluff is just kind of poorly done, especially when you compare it to something like Witcher, which wasn't even groundbreaking in that area, but it in my opinion is far better than what you get here. Like one of my favorite things about Witcher, you had this amazing world, you went on these amazing quests, but there was like, okay, I want to get this like Witcher sword, so I have to get these items or I have to do this to get this, and now I can make this cool Witcher sword. With this, it's like really doesn't have that aspect to it. It's more of just experience Night City. And while I really do like that, I don't know how that's going to translate. Like I think it's translating poorly with a lot of people. I think they're really expecting kind of what we got with Witcher, and you don't really get that here, which is a little bit disappointing. Like they were talking about like multiple different economies, multiple different factions and gangs all warring with each other in the streets. None of that fucking happens here. Like it's all done in the storyline, but you're not really, it's not even done in the way that like GTA does it, which is really disappointing because maybe it's cut. Like this is what makes me think that there's going to be a lot of updates coming because they have this amazing set piece, this world. It's fucking huge. You have this city that has verticality to it. You could go to all these different apartments, all these different alleys and corners and shops and everything. There's thousands of doors that you can go into, but are half of them are locked. And then you have this gigantic fucking desert area that you can drive around in. But like it just feels like everything is just like everything right now is just for the quests. There's no like extra stuff to do outside of the quests. So that's what makes me kind of worried about the future of this game.
So some of the stuff that would make the city a character isn't there.
Sort of. Well, sort of. Like, yes and no. So like
they told you this was like a full-fledged city that you would feel like,
and it feels like that. It feels like that.
But a lot of the interactions you would usually see, the infighting of gangs just you come across isn't there.
Right, and it just doesn't.
Unless you're in a quest.
Right, exactly. And it just doesn't feel like outside of quests there's much to do of anything. You know what I mean? Where in Witcher was like, okay, let's just go hunt a legendary fucking animal and get his skin and then make a armor with it. There's nothing really like that here. And that's kind of like even where Fallout does better. You have like a lot of this just like, I'm just going to go do some random shit and see what I come across.
You have random events and stuff like that.
Yeah, with this, it's like very rare. Now, some of that's there, but
random events go a far reach into making the world feel like it's a character, like it's a living thing.
Yeah. Like there was one event where I ran into someone.
That's what Spider-Man did so good. It's like as you progress the story, the whole world is just random. Right. Here's something happening. Like it sounds like it needs that.
Yeah, and like GTA, I think mastered that, where it's like anywhere you went, there was someone like going off on this rant, and you can just follow them, and all of a sudden you're in this quest. This doesn't really have that, but it does also, which makes me think like I think that this is just they dropped the game. Here are the quests. Here's the storyline. Here's Night City. And then in the future, here's the DLC that they're promising. Here's the multiplayer that they're promising. And they're going to build from it, I hope. Because if this is it, then it's one of the greatest story-driven RPGs I think I've ever played. But it's not Witcher 3. It's not like I don't view it as like It's just not a Witcher 3, which fucking sucks. I wanted this to be Cyberpunk Witcher 3, and it's not. It's so far
So
from it.
some of the criticisms I've heard is that it feels like it just wasn't cooked enough. It needs more time in the oven. It's
Yeah.
not done.
Yeah, I
It's-
mean,
it's not a finished, like, it's a finished product in terms of the game is you can play it and you can do all the quests in it, but as far as being what they expect, what they were selling you on, it's not.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It like maybe, and like when we think about like if you're watching this gameplay, it looks nothing like the game that you're seeing from a PS4 or Xbox. Like they look like they're made by two different studios. They're so far removed. What makes me think like the future of this game, it's like, is that even ever going to be fixed? Like, are they even ever going to go back and fix the PS4 versions, the Xbox versions? Because why would it? Doesn't make sense why you would. It's clear that they're setting this up almost as like this thing that they're going to continually add to, but it just makes me worried because like I feel like we just haven't gotten any of what they kind of. This is a scene that I don't really want to show you, but it's a good scene. I don't really want to show because there's spoilers there. Let me just skip to a couple areas here. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of disappointing, but it's also fucking amazing. Like the writing, everything. I wonder, like, maybe if this was done in a linear world or a linear state, if this would be better because then you wouldn't have to deal with all the random fluff that they had to add in, you know, which brings up all the bugs and all the issues that come out with the game. I would say, like, Keanu. Some people don't like Keanu. It's like, you know, like Pokemon has Pikachu, like Cyberpunk has Keanu. It's the fucking greatest thing. He's like this pain in your, he's a pain in your ass fucking sidekick that just like constantly nagging in your ear. And I love it. I thought it was genius to have Keanu as that role.
I've heard the criticisms that Keanu's acting is really bad. Have you never seen a Keanu Reeves movie?
Exactly.
It's why you watch Keanu. It's
right.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's like
him,
and it's like
charismatic.
It's almost like he's not acting. It's just like Keanu is actually with you, hanging out with you, and he's just like constantly up your ass about shit. And his line, he's a really funny.
Like, what
character.
did people want? Nick Cage?
Yeah, right.
Actually,
all the
I would
other
love to have a
performances.
game where Nick Cage is your partner and he's just yelling shit at you.
Cyberpunk 2, dude.
That.
Cyberpunk 2. Instead of Keanu, you get Nick Cage as your fucking.
Yeah, instead of Johnny
Pikachu.
Silverhand, you get Jimmy Goldtoes.
Jimmy Goldfinger. That's what you get. Yeah. So it's really difficult for me to try to come to terms with what Cyberpunk is, especially because I haven't finished it. Now, there's a lot of content. So when I say like it doesn't feel like there's a lot to do, there's really not. But there's also a lot of quests. So that's good. That's a good thing. You're not going to be out, you know, wondering what to do. There's always something to do. It's just always a quest. Don't expect to just go randomly and find something. It just doesn't have that type of mechanic. What I want them to fix, they need to fix the AI and they need to fix the police. Those are the two biggest broken things in the game, and that drastically affects the game in a negative way. The fact that police just kind of spawn out of nowhere and attack you is the stupidest thing.
That's one of the things I have heard is that the police system is real. It's just bad.
Yeah. You know, when GTA, you get the police and they come out of the streets and they try to tail you, and then they got the helicopter that flies over you and this and that. This is just like they just pop up behind you and that's all you get. Like, okay. And then the AI, the driving AI, like you can park in the middle of the road and then the cars will just stop. And then they won't go around you. They won't ask what the fuck's going on. They just kind of stop and just wait for you to move your shit. But I guess that's kind of like real life. That's kind of what would really happen in real life. So there's a lot to really love about this game, and I can't stop playing it. I'm so engrossed in the writing and I'm so engrossed in the story, and I do like the combat. Some people don't like the combat. I think the combat is like far better than any other first-person RPG I've played. But you cannot play this on controller. You know, I really think that you should only play this on PC currently until the next gen patch and until they figure out what to do, like, you know, with these consoles. Just play it on PC. If you can't, get it on GeForce, or just wait until they fix it. So this is the desert area, which is, I mean, you can actually get lost in the desert area, which is pretty cool. The game is so fucking massive. It really is impressive how fucking big and immersive it is. So there's my thoughts on it so far. I'll give you guys my full rundown once I beat it. Loving the story, loving everything about it, other than the fact that it's not Witcher. Really, that's kind of the biggest disappointment. Is the thing I had to come to terms with. You're not gonna get Witcher 3 out of it. As much as you try, it's not that type of game. And we'll see kind of where it goes from here and how they're going to keep adding to it. I can't imagine they're just gonna get up and start making a new game. I would really hope that they keep investing in Cyberpunk because there's such an amazing
they're gonna
foundation
treat it like
here.
Witcher 3. They're going, and they've already promised multiple content updates besides patches and stuff. So they're gonna be working on this. I will say that between Witcher 3's launch, from what I understand, was also kind of a mess,
Was.
and this, maybe CDPR is just bad at releasing games that aren't buggy.
Yeah,
at
that's what it
first.
seems like. That's what it definitely
They
seems
took
like.
8 years on this game. They delayed this game by over 6 months because of the current gen systems.
Which makes me think, like, what?
Delay it more. This is why you delay games.
Should
It's
have been
okay.
delayed when it got delayed. They should never have put a date on it. They should just went. Sorry guys, it's delayed indefinitely.
No, but like,
Delayed
think about
game
this.
that launch is better than a game that comes out that kills our stock.
Well, I think what we're all wondering is, like, in 8 years, you were making this for PS4. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you were just making it for PC and gonna port it to PS4. But like, there was no PS5, there was no RTX 3080s involved. You know, so like, what did this game look like before? Like, how did you get to this state and then release? I mean, I'll show you guys the video. Of,
Well,
like,
I mean that's what they've been doing too, though. Because I mean, look at the first two Witcher games compared to Witcher 3.
yeah,
It's night and day.
it is true.
So
I
I
tried
think
playing Witcher 1 and I tried playing Witcher 2 and no. I couldn't
Yeah.
even
I mean,
play.
I think
I
they're-
got an hour into Witcher 1 and I was like,
It's
I don't
very
wanna play
dated.
this.
It's definitely very
that
dated.
it is.
Yeah.
I think they're okay games, and especially for the time. But like, once they started hitting their stride with Witcher 3 for graphics, it's turned into like, this is who we are now.
Yeah, which I'm fine with, but they shouldn't have released the PS4 version. They should have said,
No.
you know, at the very least PS4 Pro, but you're gonna get a pretty rough experience and maybe sell it for $30 or something. I don't know.
And that's the problem is that these games
It's
were
unplayable on
announced-
those
when they were-
consoles.
yeah, that's the problem is when they were announced as current gen games that were going to come out on current gen.
Look at this.
And
It's
then,
13
and then you take all that
frames a
pre-order
second.
money, and then you're gonna refund the pre-order money. They were put into a really tough position due to themselves and due to fans and their over expectations.
Yeah.
Yes, but
When they delayed it, they were getting death threats because gamers are
Sure.
trash.
yeah.
But then, I mean, they're a
That's-
corporation.
That's something to talk about. But once they decided this is okay, we're making the next Crisis. This is the scale of game we want to make. Just axe. You needed to just axe the previous gens.
They should have, yeah.
Like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were good for their time.
At some point, yeah,
it's
at
still a
some point-
bulldozer. Like Doobie, your old computer, that's a PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
probably
literally same
better.
hardware.
It's probably better.
At some point in development, before taking pre-orders, they should have made that decision. We're gonna have to axe this. We'll delay until next gen consoles are out, and when they're in better stock. Like if this game had been delayed, at this point, let's say it had been delayed another 6 months to summer. And was running. It was only on PS5 and only on next gen.
Yeah.
We
It
probably
could
aren't
contend for
sitting here
Game of the
having a not. Yeah, we aren't sitting here talking about what a shit show this is.
Yeah, and I mean, like for example, right? This mission here, we're in the desert, and you have to blow up this EMP to knock out the satellite,
Yeah, if you have
I
the
have a
hardware to
question.
run this game, it's gorgeous.
Are
It's
they
amazing.
offering?
and it's an
a
amazing
free-
game.
Are they offering the free upgrade to the next gen system if you buy it on current gen?
They said they were, yeah. They said they
Yeah.
were.
Okay, that's like if they weren't, then this is even worse.
No, they said
Yeah.
they
At
were.
least
know,
now,
I feel like
if
they
you're not
they
happy
knew
with
that.
your purchase and you are getting a PS5. At least when you get that, you'll be able to play the game you freaking bought. Even
Yeah.
though, let's be honest, that game will probably be $40 when you're at that point.
Now,
True.
my question is, because there's like you go into the subreddit is a disaster.
Oh,
Like,
I'm not touching. I mean, it's Reddit. Reddit in general is bad.
true.
I'm sorry.
It's just everyone hates the game. It's the worst game ever made. I don't think they have lots of merit on a lot of the issues they're bringing up. It seems like a lot of them don't want to like the game. You know what I mean? I understand. I understand the reason why there's a lot of distaste for how this was released, especially with the review, the way that they kind of dropped it and they didn't show any. They were like only
The
reviews
fact
can
they
play it on
didn't
PC.
show how terrible this game's gonna run.
Yeah, it was definitely shady, and they shouldn't
They
have done
controlled the
that.
narrative around the base console launch. They
Yeah,
very
and
much
then
controlled the narrative.
once we started getting PC reviews and I was seeing the hardware needed to run this, like I knew
You're like, how is this gonna run on an
dude.
Xbox? An Xbox
It's
One?
not.
It's crazy. It's insane. But I mean, at the very least, it does run technically on those consoles, which I
Yeah,
guess is
but
an
like
achievement.
to get 60 frames medium, you need a $400 graphics card, like at 1080p.
At 1080, yeah, it's a rough fucking experience if you don't have the right hardware. I just
And then you
wouldn't do. I
yeah.
wouldn't even play it. It's not worth it because you're gonna miss out. Like what so much of what this game is the visuals. It's the ambiance. It's the characters and how lively they are. Like everything is modeled so beautifully. And if you're gonna have to look at like a jank version of it, it's like you're playing a bootleg. You don't want that experience. But my question is, it's like, this was the most anticipated game probably since ever. And now it seems like you go to the subreddit and there's a lot of people that are like, CD Projekt Red has ruined all their goodwill with all the gamers and blah, blah, blah. I honestly think like in a few months, once all of this kind of gets patched over, everyone's going to kind of forget about it. And I think we're going to see this kind of turn around. But I'm curious to know like what the next release is going to be for CD Projekt Red and how they're going to try to go about it and how the reception is going to be, because this was a massive clusterfuck of a release. I'm very curious to see, like, are they going to just not say anything until the game is just done next time? Are they going to try to be more transparent? I think a lot of the problems that has arisen from this was they were like too transparent with their promises and stuff. Like they were just like, oh yeah, we're gonna add this, like kind of like what happened with No Man's Sky. Yeah, we'll add this and we'll add that, and this is gonna be in here. And then the game comes, you're like, wait a second, this is nothing like what you were saying. I think we're gonna see like a pretty reserved CD Projekt Red from here on out. Which again, I just want a really good product. I want a really good story. You're getting that. You're getting these great quests, great writing. I'm just like, okay, well, are we going to get anything else from this game? Are we going to get actual like mechanic updates? Are we going to see like AI updates? Are we going to see like, can you just eliminate the PS4 and just work on making this game a better game? Like
I think you
When do people
you
mod
will
it?
eventually, but they're gonna have like they're in the spot now where performance updates are above everything now. They had to, their first priority now is literally they made a bad choice. This game never should have launched for PS4 or Xbox, but it did and it sucks. That's their priority number one.
yeah,
They have to save whatever face they can and just get it to a 25 FPS semi playable something.
yeah, I would agree. What a fucking mess that they got themselves into. What a mess.
Like that's what they're gonna be doing first.
I'm just what did this game look like when they first delayed it?
The eventual documentary in like
Yes. The no
development
clip.
of Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be good.
I know. Like, what the fuck did this look like when they first delayed it? They're like, we just need one more month. Obviously, that wasn't the case.
I'm just waiting for like 3 years from now when it wins best updated game.
Best ongoing game at Game
Ongoing
Awards
game,
2024.
you just have the owner of CDPR sitting there fucking shit faced laughing like no Man's Sky guy.
Just getting
Sitting there like
squashed.
what? What? We did this? Okay, sure, dude.
Yeah, man. This is, and someone was saying in the Reddit, they were saying like oh man, their next game is gonna take a huge financial hit. No, it will not. Gamers have an attention span fucking shorter
Well,
than a fucking dick.
The other thing is it's CD Projekt Red. You're gonna forget this when the next game comes out in 6 years from now.
Yeah, true. In 12
Like
years from now.
that's the upside and downside of CDPR is like they make a game once every 5 years, if that.
Yeah.
Like
My final things is like if you like Fallout, you're gonna
just
absolutely love this game.
I'm gonna definitely play it. I'm fine waiting for it. Like the same thing with Witcher 3. Witcher 3 I absolutely loved, but I waited till I bought a new graphics card.
Yeah.
But I'm that type of person who I'm willing to do that. I do feel for the people who bought it and it doesn't even run on a fucking PlayStation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That sucks. That should not have happened.
Yeah.
That's fuck you, CDPR, for doing that.
That's insane.
But at the
That's
same
insane.
time, I personally want that immersive experience of, yeah, dude, I'll throw 2 grand at a computer and do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I'm curious to know how much like what the financial hit would have been if like when they first were announced this was going to be released, if they were like, this is what the PS4 looks like, but this is what it looks like with next gen hardware and the top level
And
graphics.
I think that was their goal, and that they just didn't meet. Like they didn't meet it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm saying is like that's got to be their first priority is getting that baseline game playable.
Yeah.
And if you get the baseline game playable, I think people will be happier.
Yeah, because there's an amazing foundation. Like in terms of immersiveness, in terms of the world, in terms of the setting, the sound, everything about the game, it's far better than Witcher 3. But like what makes Witcher 3 so amazing to me, this doesn't quite have it. And that's the only thing that I'm worried because I don't know if that can be fixed. I don't unless they add more like mechanics to it. I don't know if that can be fixed.
I think it can be too because that the DLCs for Witcher 3 helped it a lot too.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean? So like there is definitely
Oh, I have
DLCs
hope.
they can add that adds like, okay, here's you're talking about like the fun of the legendary armor crafting and like random stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
yep, here's a $5 or it's included in the next DLC is here's 50 extra side quests you don't know about that you get gear from or something.
Yeah. No, I definitely have hope. This is the one kind of like gaming developer. Well, other than Bluepoint, like the Demon Souls remake is fucking incredible. But this is the one developer I'm like I do have hope. Like I don't think that they're gonna fuck the game up completely. So I am excited for the future, and I still have to beat it. Like I haven't. I still have a lot to go. I've been doing so
Yeah.
many side quests. They're so good. All right. Just getting into some
And
of the stuff. Go ahead. You have something to say?
I was gonna say, I mean, you never know. And I mean, shit, dude, I do wonder if some of the well, okay, this has been a weird release to me because a lot of the backlash is deserved. It feels like you can't release a game that's unplayable,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's interesting, like following this trend of like every year we've had that shit game that's released horribly. So we had Fallout 76, we had No Man's Sky, now we have Cyberpunk. So that trend continues, but it's been interesting to me to see like going like transitioning into the game awards. Gamers haven't been happy this year.
No. Are
Like
they ever happy? Really? Ever happy?
true, but like especially this year, like all I've heard from the mass loud minority circle jerk is Last of Us 2 is the worst game ever made.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk is the worst game ever made. This or that's the worst game ever made. Fallout 76 is the worst game ever made. No Man's Sky
Yes.
is the worst game ever made. And
True.
they all won awards this year.
Yeah. It's true. It is fascinating. Now, I
Now,
think Last of Us is one of the greatest games ever created. You know what I mean? Like I thought Fallout 76 was fine. Like I didn't think it was a fucking, dumpster fire. I think this game is amazing, and I don't know, maybe there's some sort of weird there is a circle jerk kind of gamer hatred
well,
going on.
there definitely is, but it's just interesting me like noticing all of
The
that. But
disparity between that and like the critics.
right, but this feels like as much as I want Cyberpunk to succeed, you can't release a broken game.
Yeah, and they did.
Like I defended Fallout 76 when everyone was bagging on it because was it a good game? No. But did it run and was everything that they said was going to be there? Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't say that about Cyberpunk.
No, you can't. It's a shame. It really is a shame. We'll see how they're going to have to really put work in. They got the money now. Like there was a report, I don't know if you have it on here, where they got their money back. They've already got their development money back, which is insane. Like how much was this game to make?
But hey, you could also be No Man's Sky, and 2 years from now, it's the greatest game ever.
Yeah. And I think
You can fix it.
I think they can. I think they can. I really do. And get this fucking screenshot. Oh my god, this is from the PS4 version. But CD Projekt Red has made back the development and marketing costs for Cyberpunk. So I mean, it's sold extremely well. They're bathing in that money. Hopefully, they take some of it to make a bigger team so they can get these patches and these fixes out a lot quicker, fix the performance issues. But like we were saying, like this is never going to be the game where magically it just runs on your 1050. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough game to run, and some games are just tough to run. It's just the way that PC gaming moves forward. They came out with an apology. Let me see if I can find it here. Is this it here, Doobie? The refund apology letter thing that they wrote.
It should be.
The third
I think
one
it's linked in there.
Let me see if I can find it. But they did write not an apology,
That
but
classic yellow background.
yeah.
If you go to the source, it brings you up the tweet.
Man, this website is so slow. All right,
I'll just drop it into the.
I got it right here.
Okay.
So here they go. Here's the response. First of all, we'd like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PS4 and Xbox One. Second, we will fix all the bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates has just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more, as we will update frequently whenever new improvements are ready. After the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch 1 in January. This will be followed by patch 2 in February. Together, these should fix the most prominent problems gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We'll be informing you about the contents of each patch ahead of their release. They won't make the game look like it's running on high-spec PC or next-gen console, but it will be closer to that experience than it is now. Finally, we would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. We would appreciate it if you would give us a chance, but if you're not pleased with the game on your console or don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system on PSN or Xbox respectively. For box versions, please try to get a refund at the store you bought the game. Should this not be possible, contact us at helpmerefund@cdprojectred.com, and we'll do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week up until December 21st, 2020. From Marcin. Everyone loves Marcin, right? PC gamers will also be getting regular updates and fixes improving the game, which leads me to believe that the PC version of the game is the main studio, and there is a port studio making that second PS version for the base gen consoles. Because, like I said, they look completely different. It looks like Fallout 3 versus Cyberpunk. Like they look completely different. And yeah, I mean, if you want a refund, supposedly Sony said no.
Sony said no, and CD Projekt Red also doesn't have refund agreements with any of the retailers, Sony or Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really going to get a refund.
Go to them first. I mean, Sony already says that if you buy a digital game and it fully downloads, you are not eligible for a refund unless there's a fault issue.
Yeah.
GameStop is a company that if you literally open the package, they refuse a refund no matter what, unless it's an exchange for the same product because of faulty. And you can't do that. Hey, you can trade it in for $30.
Yeah. None of these retailers are going to refund you. That's why they're in retail.
So everyone's going to have to go through CD Projekt Red for refunds, in which you only have a week to do so.
Yeah.
Unless you go through Good Old Games.
Emails.
How's Good Old Games doing right now?
I mean, GOG is owned by
exactly.
PR, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not... I mean, I guess if you bought it on GOG, you could definitely argue that it was probably a better place to get a refund. But yeah, you don't expect to get a refund. You're just going to have to wait. And if you got it on PS4, you're fucked, dude. You got fucked. You got swindled by these old Polacks out in Poland, man. I mean, it's just, you got screwed over by CD Projekt Red. You're probably never going to get the game that you were hoping to get. You know, all those trailers and stuff, it's just not, you're not going to experience that unless you get it on next gen or you get it on PC. It's really unfortunate.
At least you get a PS5, Xbox One copy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that is true. That is true. You can upgrade for free. I don't know how that. I don't think they said how it works yet, but you
Or
can
when,
get it.
but you at least do have that small promise that there's at least a game you can play on the new console
Yeah.
eventually.
And the way that it runs on my 1080, my 1080 Ti, I'm pretty confident how it'll run on the next gen consoles too. Like it's gonna look pretty fucking good and run pretty smooth once it's all patched up and optimized for those systems.
I mean, yeah, because the next gen consoles are basically a 1080 Ti close.
Yeah.
They're a little bit less. They're less, but they're close to that.
But if it's optimized, it might run a little bit better,
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're running it fine, that's basically what the new consoles are.
Yeah. And this above led to CDPR changing their bonus structure up for their employees, and stocks are falling. Cyberpunk developer bonus scheme changed after launch woes. I thought they said that they weren't changing the bonuses.
The bonuses used to be tied to Metacritic scores of 90 or
Oh,
higher.
right. They said that, and then they came out and they said, no, we're
If
going
you
to
haven't seen the Metacritic score for Cyberpunk 2077
I haven't.
on the PS4, it's worse than Anthem.
No. I mean, at least Anthem ran.
Both critically
It looks great.
User reviews are worse than Anthem.
But it's an NBA 2K.
No, it's not. It's
NBA
not.
2K20.
No, I think Anthem was a 54 critic score with a 30.6 user score, and currently Cyberpunk on PS4 has a 52 critic score with a 3.2 user score.
Yeah, it's actually crazy
It's a 3.
the difference between PlayStation
3.
4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah, PC
It's fucking
89,
wild.
7.0.
It's a 52, a 59, and a 90.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a complete.
And it,
It's
like 7
broken.
users.
It's broken on PS4. It's
Yeah,
how it is.
and user score is a 3, a 4.1, and a 7.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you would have to give it a 0 on PS4 and Xbox because it literally, you can't play it. You can't play a
Yeah.
game at 10, 13 frames per second. That's unplayable. You know what I mean? That's fucking unplayable. It really is a shame because this game is really something special, and it sucks that some people got swindled to boost. I mean, really what's going to happen is the money that they swindled from these console peons is going to go into the development for the PC version, which I can experience in the highest fidelity possible. So thank you.
I want to know how much of their sales came from the base PS4.
I would imagine
I imagine a lot. The big install base.
maybe half from PS4 and Xbox. I would
That's a
imagine
lot.
maybe half. Because who the fuck has
Possibly
a
even more, to
PS5?
be honest.
Who the fuck has a PS5?
And you can, if you have a PS5, I think you can run the disc if you bought the disc.
Well, yeah, supposedly it runs fine on PS5 and Series X. It's just not the next gen version.
Right.
It's not even the PC version because it's running the PS4 version just better. Honestly, I think with the biggest issue with the base PS4 is like you don't have an SSD, so they're trying to stream all this shit on that slow ass hard drive.
That's true. Yeah. Oh,
It's just like
yeah,
a pop-up
yeah,
city. The textures
yeah.
aren't coming in. All the AI because the fucking CPU is a piece of shit now.
well, dude, no, it's again, they're 8-year-old consoles at this point. Basically, it's a Jaguar core with a graphics card that is weaker than a 470.
Yeah, with an HDD. With this,
Not even a fast hard drive.
No,
it's
like
not
a
even
5400.
7,200. It's a 5400 laptop drive.
I mean, it's
This
a,
is man. CD Projekt Red stock fell by 29%.
it did really.
Positive reviews weren't enough for the shares to recover, and 7.8% of the aforementioned drop came after the launch. Ouch.
When did it launch? It launched. Oh yeah, it dropped pretty fucking hard.
That's 29% stock fall. That's
Why
bad.
that? That's interesting. Why that would be? Usually, that the stock shouldn't really be tied to the reception of the game. That's interesting. Maybe they're expecting like a pretty heavy like fixing, like spending money to fix it.
It might be.
Because usually it doesn't. I mean, this game is one of the best-selling games ever.
Hey, they
Usually the
crunched to
stock
get
would
the
go
game
up.
out. They're gonna be crunching for the next 3 years fixing it.
Crunch away. Your guys gonna have to crunch. I mean, this is what I said this in the Discord. But it was like, makes you appreciate the crunch that Rockstar puts on their employees, because their games are fucking immaculate when they're.
I don't know.
I mean,
I've
it's
been
amazing.
addicted. I've been severely addicted to Hades the last couple days, and that company has literally zero crunch. They actually force their employees to take time off.
Yeah,
Indie studio, so I will give you that.
it's a completely
I would also
different
I
game.
agree. I agree with you, but then I also disagree with you because it is also an apples to oranges.
Yeah, it's not
comparison.
even. I mean, it's
No,
like
yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
it's a glorified
mean, that's
Flash
I
game.
recognize that.
Yes. Yes.
I hear
but
you though.
It's a valid, but it is still a valid argument of
It does
where-
make me feel good supporting that company.
Sure.
Exactly. No, yeah, definitely. Because it's one of those things where it's a hard thing to scale, but we're still hoping and praying for that company that is a small indie company. Like that meme, we actually want that meme to be real in a big company.
How large of a company is CD? Like, how many employees does CD Projekt Red have working on their games?
That's a good question.
Uh,
I mean, I think they're technically a AAA at this point.
Yeah.
They have to be.
Witcher 3 sold so many fucking copies.
But do they just not have enough people working? I don't.
I think that this game is just too big for what they
Too
wanted
ambitious.
to
Yeah, they have over 1,000.
do. Yeah, that's like a AAA studio.
What? No. I mean, yeah. Well, what do you still consider BioWare AAA?
Yeah,
I think I would.
They're a
I
bigger
would.
studio. They're a bigger studio than BioWare.
yeah. I
Yeah,
would
But
think
they're
BioWare
still
AAA.
like dwarfed,
By, like,
completely
EA.
dwarfed by
Don't-
like
don't
a
get me wrong.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
BioWare in terms of quality. I don't know if you can trust them anymore with anything.
Yeah. Like from what I'm seeing is BioWare currently employs 800 employees, CDPR employs 1,100. But like EA's got 10,000,
Yeah.
Ubisoft's got almost
They're
20,000.
massive corporations, yeah. Take-Two, I mean, Rockstar Take-Two has like 7 different studios.
Yeah. So it really depends on the size, but that's definitely in my book. If you have that many people specifically working on the game, you're a triple.
I will say, if you have a
Yeah,
publicly
and-
traded stock, you're probably a AAA.
Yeah.
Even though
The
it's an
last
over-the-counter
numbers
stock.
I can find for Supergiant Games as of 2018, they have 20 employees.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. Really is.
No, and I mean that's like Path of
Actually,
Exile.
yeah, that's
Path of
actually
Exile
pretty
has
impressive.
like 40.
Yeah, Path of Exile is a small team. It's amazing.
Like,
too.
well, I mean, like, look at Among Us, who I will rep to death. It's literally 2 devs and an artist, and they just finally, like,
they
a
just-
month ago, hired a community manager.
And they
Yeah.
just put
That's
the
it.
game on Switch today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Switch now. Yep.
Is it really? That's
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, they had their Nintendo Indies presentation today, and the last
That's
announcement
actually
was
dope.
Among Us out today. And it does support crossplay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, that's actually.
Which actually,
fucking awesome.
I'm thinking this is off topic. But I'm thinking in the future when like this pandemic and shit's all over and people can come together again. Among Us on phones and Switches, like you can have 8 players IRL play Among Us and then do the discussions in person
Yeah.
is kind of cool, and I would like to do that.
That's pretty cool.
No, like, it's a great game, but then that's another example of, like, that's an indie. That's a small indie studio.
Yeah.
But I do agree that, like, I do wish, like, and that's why I always get excited with, I know it's going to take years and it's going to be nothing from all of these studios, but like I'm the old Blizzard person. I get excited whenever I see Mike Morhaime finally fucking left Activision and is making his own game studio. You know what I mean? Because I do miss that old Blizzard of, they were a small indie company. They
Yeah.
made AAA games, but they were a small indie company, especially in their morals of, like, they didn't crunch. They just delayed games and they made them great.
And like Witcher 3 was an indie studio. When that game came out, they were technically an indie. They were the underground indie developer. It was a smaller team. They really just started hiring for, I'm assuming, Cyberpunk, because I don't think they're making anything else. And now, now they're like, they made so much money off that one game. I would consider them a AAA now. So they probably just need to get bigger, I guess, if they're gonna plan to make these blockbusters. There's a reason why, like, There's so many. There's a reason why they can crank out like Battlefields and they could crank out Call of Duties, because they have like these massive teams that, you know, you don't have to worry about that shit. Okay, that's enough Cyberpunk for now. I'm gonna come back to it after I beat it, because I do fucking love it. I love Keanu in this game so much. All right, we talked about this PS5 selling $19 million profit on eBay. Scalper's Paradise. I mean, if you're a scalper, if you got the chops to scalp, this is a beautiful boon market right now. Bull market.
Real quick.
Sephiroth in Smash is getting released Friday. I haven't really seen too much about him. Is
I
there
don't
a
know
video
if it's
here?
Friday. They're doing the presentation on Thursday, and then they're gonna probably announce a release date.
So it might be
But
Thursday, you're saying?
I hope Thursday, or it could be a week after, but that would put it at Christmas Eve, which would be a weird time to put a character out.
Yeah.
I did not see this one coming at all. This is how they opened the Game Awards, was with the Smash reveal, which was kind of a smart idea. That was the big announcement, really. The
pretty
rest
cool.
of the games announced at the Game Awards were okay, but like Sephiroth and Smash, which is a very interesting development because Cloud was the one character that almost made Smash Ultimate not be Ultimate. Square Enix wanted a lot of money for Cloud, to almost to the point where they didn't agree on the terms. Where the whole, everyone is here almost wasn't everyone is here because of Square Enix.
Yeah.
So for them to now also have a Dragon Quest rep, and now Sephiroth, who is hard to argue he's not the most iconic JRPG villain of all time.
Who would be?
Sephiroth, like that.
Oh, I thought you meant like he's
even-
not. I thought you meant he's.
No, I mean, it's hard to argue that he's not.
Yeah.
Like when people think of JRPG main like big bad villains, Sephiroth is, even people who have never played Final Fantasy 7 kind of recognize who Sephiroth kind of is.
Who would even be in the running? I'm trying to think.
In JRPGs,
I mean,
probably another Final Fantasy villain, but no one is close as
yeah, I mean,
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth is probably the biggest, yeah.
So, I mean, that was kind of wild for
Now,
me.
I
And
saw in the he does like a fucking like a dodge move, which looks really interesting. Did you see that in his preview?
it
He
looks
does like a
his dodge
back
roll, but
dodge.
It looks like it has super armor on it, which is weird. He's going to be slow, but he's going to have the largest range of any character ever because
You think I could stream the trailer?
canonically, I probably.
I'll
But
just-
canonically, his sword is twice the length of his body.
Yeah, and it looks that way.
They could have balanced it and made the sword shorter, but no, they didn't. The sword is gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge.
And I've always joked that,
See,
like,
there's the dodge I was talking about, by the way. He like
where he's like back rolling. And what
yeah,
it looks like.
well, it doesn't look like a dodge roll. It looks like a actual sort of like parry move.
It could be his back. It could be he could have a mechanic like Terry that has a back B. Not, I mean, most characters don't have a back B button.
Yeah, it looks something like that.
He's got a one-winged angel mechanic, which looks like it's going to be kind of like Arsene from Joker, so that's going to make a lot of people mad.
I love it. I love
He's
Arsene.
going to be slow. I don't know what his recovery is going to look like. It's probably not going to be very good without the one-winged angel part. But that range is just, have fun trying to get on him. He's just going to throw his sword out and hit you from across the stage.
I can't wait. I've been dying for a new Smash. I need to play again. I haven't played since
This
Cyberpunk.
is the
I haven't played.
character. I had been saying that like Min Min and Steve were like kind of cool, but like, I mean, Get Steve was like a big deal, but neither of them
Steve's
really,
awesome. Fuck off.
neither of them though were selling me on the pass. Like, guys, I have to get the pass because of this. I have not played Smash in forever. Sephiroth changes that for me completely.
Steve actually.
I'm
rocks.
not gonna lie though, as someone who hasn't been into Smash in a while, like I actually forgot Cloud was a character and I couldn't tell, are they really announcing Cloud or Sephiroth?
Yeah, he's
Well,
great.
Like
the
that,
actually funny
that
thing-
was, if you
this
didn't
is
know
the
Cloud was
first-
in the game, like that was a really ambiguous
This is the first
trailer
time,
until they actually put the name up.
this
yeah.
is the first time that Cloud has been in a CG trailer.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Even his reveal trailer for Smash 4.
Oh,
5
can we
years
just
ago
appreciate
was
where
an in-game trailer?
Can we just appreciate in this trailer where he stabs Mario in the fucking neck?
Yeah, so the entire trailer is
Right
just
here.
direct references, non-stop direct references to Advent Children.
Oh, really?
which is so cool. Yeah, that scene where he stabs Mario is a direct iconic scene in of Advent Children where he's got Cloud stabbed.
It looks like the same sort of like CG artist too.
Yeah, I think Bandai Namco did it. They had to have dropped $3 million into this trailer.
It looks really fucking
They
cool.
got to drop a lot of money. But it's great. Like even the end shot where he's like, I will never be a memory. That is a direct line for line recreation of Advent Children's ending.
I'm excited. I want to check them out. I love when
And
you get
it
a new
plays into the
character.
whole Final Fantasy VII remake thing because the Sephiroth remake is the same Sephiroth. As far as we understand, it's the same Sephiroth from Advent Children.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm more
You
interested in
see,
Smash now with
you
him. He
see
seems like a
this?
good character.
That's Sid Highwind. This is Tifa. I have Sephiroth up there. These are all the postcards from the original limited release of Advent Children.
You fucking nerd.
I'm a fucking nerd. I love Final Fantasy VII.
Well, hey, dude. Thank God it didn't win Game of the Year at least.
Oh, yeah, I did deserve to.
But no, but semi-related to that, I've actually been getting more into Smash again. I mean, okay, that was a cool trailer. That would get you pumped. But then also the Melee documentary aired this weekend, and
I
that
didn't even
was
put that in the news. There was a lot of backlash on that one.
there was a
Really?
lot of backlash, but it
What's
got
it
me
called?
actually interested into Smash.
So okay,
What is it
we'll
called?
do a quick offset. It's called. It's from
Metagame.
Metagame. I don't remember. I don't know what the exact series is called. It's from the same people that made the original Smash Brothers doc. God, what was the name of that one? There was a doc back in 2013, which is kind of the reason why Smash got very popular again. Like Melee got popular, and a lot of the players that came in after that documentary, they've been coined the doc babies. They're all the new players that came in after seeing the documentary. So
I could
this is a
see this
new
making a
documentary,
second doc. I could see this
and a
also
lot
making a
of
second set of doc
they're
babies, to
gonna
be
the
honest.
guy who made it. He already said he's gonna
Me,
go
I'm
back
gonna
and
join the
re-edit.
second set of doc. I'm gonna be the fucking next
So
hungry.
there was a lot of criticism on some of the stuff that was shot and some of the focus.
I'm curious what your
Um,
criticisms are, because I saw mostly good feedback, but I
I
watched it through a
I
very
honestly
biased
think
source.
I honestly think that the story, the narrative that he was
It
originally
was just
going
PP.
for,
It was just all about
got
PP.
I think it got destroyed though because a lot of the stuff he was probably going to cover. Guess who all got kicked out of the Smash community for being pedos? You can't cover them at that point. You got to remove them. So that changes the narrative.
Okay. That's what I was curious about. That I was trying to
There's a
figure
lot
out.
of inconsistencies in like tumultuous storytelling because there are places where obviously somebody should have been interviewed for something and they're not there, so they had to cut
Gotcha.
that story out.
Oh
Now,
man.
now you'd be able to probably tell that easier to me as someone who has no relation to the Smash scene, because
There
I
was
in
a lot
general
of awful
avoid the fighting
people.
games, and I know that. But I as someone outside of that, I was like, oh, this does act. The doc came off positive to me because it was like
There's a lot of stuff with
it wasn't
Leffen
any.
and
It
Mango
wasn't
though that
that. Yes. But there was
they
a
were
lot
never
of it.
yeah.
A lot of it wasn't the people I've heard bad things from the Me Too movement. Like, does that make sense? It was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Here's a good, nice story about the good actors, I guess you could say, of
The
the
five
Smash scene.
gods. It's the five
Right.
gods is what the story wound up
Yeah.
becoming. Was the five
And then
gods.
and then it had the Leffen arc, but Leffen loses.
The five gods.
Yeah, and Leffen is like the sixth god because he's the first person to beat all five gods. And then
Right, but,
King
This is so
but
barely
in
even
the
did.
but in the documentary, he loses.
And they use the sad music, and they also, I think, from what I understand, in like episodes 4, 5, 6, they do focus on Mango and Leffen's kind of negativity, which
Yeah.
with the whole ban, with the evidence, the evidence.zip that Armada had against banning
Also
Leffen. But
that entire documentary made me,
Yeah.
even though I know nothing about this scene, I am now the biggest Armada simp. Like,
I'm just saying.
Armada's a G.
I'm just saying that it would have been better for them to have brought Mango and Leffen in to give an interview and be like, "Hey, we were different people back then. We're not those guys now."
That I have heard that criticism because
I will wear the badge of honor.
I saw Mango immediately come out after watching it of just like, I would not want to be friends with me, thanks.
Yeah. And I would wear the badge of honor on my sleeve that I am currently banned I'm currently blocked by Leffen on Twitter. So Listen,
they
he
also
I
posted
haven't
nothing
seen
but
this. I
trash
want to see
takes,
this. This
so-
sounds
they
interesting.
did Leffen really dirty. I also don't know Leffen, but they really piped him up as like the villain. He is the god killer.
Every
and he's
time
just an
that-
asshole.
At the time, he was the villain.
Every
A
time I've
lot.
seen
Yeah.
him streaming, it's like negative. It's like he's like always mad. He's always
Yeah,
yelling at
he-
someone. He's never
he has
happy.
a tendency to be very negative about things, and he likes to he likes to poke the bear and put up hot takes on Twitter to elicit people's reactions.
He just doesn't seem like a very happy person, like ever.
And he came across that way to an extent, but also
Yeah.
I don't know, it was interesting too because also the way the documentary was set up at first, because the documentary, since I guess they did have to cut people out and it was only over 1 year basically, it turned into PP's great, PP's the greatest, he's the ultimate god, you're always going to lose to PP, here's his
I miss
redemption
PP.
story.
I miss PP.
But like the flip side of that is that was edited into also this weird mix of like old Mango being old Mango, which take that as you will, and then PP deciding Mango doesn't like me, and it turned into this like weird
It's
thing of like
interesting.
Mango and PP hate each other, and PP thinks Mango's a terrible human being. But then I was watching streams afterwards, and like they're both chill with
Yeah.
each other. It wasn't
This-
ever actually the way
Oh,
that
yeah.
it ended up depicted like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got.
I also watched-
Hungry Bucks.
Yeah, because I watched all of the way I watched it was Ludwig was allowed to stream the entire thing and then
I'm
give
surprised
commentary.
by that. Okay, I'm surprised by that because they were asking people not to restream it.
So do you
because they are
recommend-
They're actually
Well,
trying to push it to like Netflix.
Right, so they can get purchased. No, he was allowed to stream it because he's from the Smash community. But
Wait, do
for
you
all, I guess,
recommend? Do you recommend people watch it? Like, is it good? It's
once
done
it gets
well?
fully edited? I think so.
Yeah,
it was good. It was
going
good.
to it's going to come under some re-edits.
Yeah,
It's
especially
definitely
with
not
the
a
music
finished
and stuff.
product yet.
But he
I would
he
check
was
it out.
allowed to restream it and give commentary since he knows all of the people and he's in that
I would
scene. You know what I mean?
definitely say-
But it was also under the rule of immediately once it's done
Oh.
premiering, it went deleted VODs, everything like that.
If I remember, it's literally called the first documentary series that he did was literally called just The Smash Bros.
Okay.
And it's the Smash Brothers. It's a 2013 9-part documentary that's really good.
Okay.
And that one was about like early. That was like about like MLG era. That was about like they covered a little bit of N64. They covered like was it PG? I think it's PG Chris, PC Chris. They covered like Ken, who if you ever watch anybody play Melee and you see somebody play as Marth and you hear the Ken combo, that was Ken's bread and butter combo.
And they slightly covered him like a tiny bit in this new documentary, but not.
Yeah, I
Not a
mean
ton.
Ken is, and not to sound like I'm disrespectful, but he's kind of irrelevant to Smash these days.
Well, that's what they were.
They
I
just
think that's why they
weapons.
brought up that whole chillin' dude story arc with Leffen.
Oh God, Chillin' and oh God, the Chillin' Leffen. Oh, was that the Salty Suite at Apex 2014? I was
When
there.
Leffen just. Oh,
I
you
was
were.
there.
Oh, okay.
It's a New Jersey.
No, go. Okay, so Ludwig was allowed to stream it, but he deleted his VODs of the actual watching the documentary. But afterwards, you might be interested to go check his VODs out because after they were done rolling, and this is where a lot of my perspective comes from because I obviously don't know these things, but like Toph got on and started talking to him, PPMD came on and started talking to him, and they were all Leffen then went and talked with Toph, and like they were all actually having like round table discussions, I guess, of what did you think of it.
What happened to Doobie?
Also, I think Doobie just ripped. No, it was pretty.
No, I was looking to see if I still had it, but yeah, it's hanging up
Okay.
on the wall. I have my 2014 Apex spectator badge.
Oh, there you go. No, go. I would say
That
go
Salty
check that
Suite
out.
though was at 2015,
Right,
which
and that
I
was
was
covered.
also at, but I don't have my what do you call it for it? My badge.
I gotta check this out. I really have only gotten into the scene in when Ultimate came out. I was never really, just never
Did they
even knew
play?
anything
Did
about it.
they play the diss track?
Yes, they did. They actually played
Oh
the
my
video
God,
of it
it's
too.
so bad.
They played the video, and then they showed a second video in the like where are they now in like the 2019 segment of him still doing it.
Oh, that's so sad.
because apparently he's learned to own the meme
How
and now
long is
just still
this?
plays it.
Chilling at this point, all he chilling does that I see is just he does speedrunning on Twitch now.
How long is this documentary?
It's like 10 half-hour episodes.
What?
Yeah.
It's pretty chunky.
No, like I watched it in 3 or 4 episodes a day over like 3 days on Ludwig stream.
Holy shit. 10.5 hours?
Yeah, about I think.
That's more of like an anthology. I thought this was like a
Like
one.
it's a mini series.
It's a
Yeah.
mini
basically.
series, yeah.
That's like a yeah. That's a fucking show.
People
All right.
are also really mad about
Everyone's mad at
Mewtwo
everything.
King. And
Why?
it was mostly not that they just felt like Mewtwo King didn't get the recognition he deserved because they didn't do the Big House 4, whatever that means.
Okay.
Yeah, the big house is we've talked about it with the current big house.
Well, right,
issue.
right, but
Um,
apparently he
the
just
big house
sto-
is like one of the biggest.
right,
it's
but
one
I
of
guess
the
he
big
demolished I guess he demolished 4 and like that was his tourney and they didn't cover that and they felt like to tell the story of Mewtwo King you have to
Mewtwo
acknowledge
King,
that
M2K
tourney.
after, yeah, I don't think much of N64 with him, but he was Melee Brawl, Smash 4, and Ultimate, even though like he doesn't play them as much as he usually does. Like he still plays them, but he's not like one of the top players.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got his reasons for it. Hands, having played for so long, aren't as good as they used to be.
But no, it was actually like I am curious of seeing the fully edited thing because it was actually it was interesting. As someone outside of the scene, it made me a lot more interested in that scene in general because you guys know me, I fucking hate the fighting games community.
I will
Like
tell
straight
you,
up.
if you want to see some good melee sets, I don't remember which year, what tournament. It's one of the more recent ones though. Is the Mewtwo King 5-0 Leffen is a great set to watch if you don't like Leffen.
I
Mewtwo King just
I
bodies them.
see that's the thing is that like I don't know any of them enough to like say if I like or don't like them just from that documentary, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was also like it was really cool, but it was a slice of 2014 and 2015 like that tells me nothing. Do I like them in
Which is
2020 or
which is the
2021?
time, yeah, and that's the time where a lot of the doc babies themselves got into it. That's where I remember Apex 2013 was my introduction to competitive Smash.
Yeah.
Also, my introduction to speedrunning at the same time. Because
yeah,
they
no,
overlapped that same week.
it was cool, and I think it did a cool idea of highlighting like the idea of five gods, and like it makes more sense to me why Mango's a big deal. Because I always
Right.
knew Mango was good at fighting at Smash, and then when he
Mango,
was signed to
yeah.
C9, it was like, oh, cool, we picked up a Smash dude. Like
Mango's
that
also
was
one
what
of
it meant to
those.
me.
He's one of those players that was like he's so unpredictable because he would just where other players are very intelligent, and not to say that he's not intelligent, but he would go for just these crazy options, these crazy plays that shouldn't work, but they do because they're so unpredictable.
If he is, I mean, and from what I can tell, he still kind of is. But if he's like he is in the documentary, Mango is the closest thing I think you could ever get to saying a gamer is actually a Chad.
You know what? He does. He's an Eagles fan, so that's all I'll say.
Like, there's an entire segment of like, okay, you have part of the documentary, which this was a weird edit, especially with the music. It was really fucking weird. But you had PP sitting in a corner crying to himself, studying the game and reading the stupid fucking book. And then you have cut to Mango just playing beer pong. And this goes on for like 5 fucking minutes.
That's a Chad
It's just
move.
Mango playing fucking beer pong.
All right.
I wouldn't say that's untrue.
Let's skip.
That's pretty true.
We're gonna skip all of this. We're gonna go to this story. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo partner on commitment to safer gaming. No one company or industry will solve these challenges alone. I saw this on Twitter. I don't know exactly what this is. They seem to have partnered together in an effort to protect the safety of their players in our connected and socially focused world. Announced on Xbox Wire, corporate vice president Xbox operations Dave McCarthy discussed how he and the team believe that gaming is for all people of all ages, including our youngest and most vulnerable players. However, protecting players online is not an easy task and requires multidisciplinary approach. We're aligned with both Nintendo and on behalf of the community of Nintendo Switch players and PlayStation in our belief that protecting players online requires multidisciplinary approach, one that combines the benefits of advanced technology, a supportive community, and skilled human oversight. We can accomplish more when we work together towards the same goal. We will each continue investigating, evolving, and amplifying our approaches to user safety. As we continue this work, we will be prioritize protecting the safety of our players, especially those most vulnerable. What does this? What does this mean, though?
I don't think we'll actually know what this means until we see it.
Yeah, so it says here prevention. Empower players and parents to understand and control gaming experiences. We provide controls that let players customize their gaming experience. We support parents with the tools and information necessary. I mean, that is definitely something that is needed, right? Like, better, like, it's very easy for someone to just, like, someone underage to just get into, like, an M-rated game. That's
Yes.
never really been a barrier, you know?
No. Like it's all interesting and I think it's a good idea, but I'm gonna have no comment on this until we actually see what's the outcome. What are they
Yeah.
actually doing with this? Because
Yeah.
right now it's just like this is a great PR statement.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna work harder at, I guess, protecting kids from. Yeah, because like that's a big thing, especially with the more of the onset of like mobile gaming. It's
Like yeah, I agree with the top comment. Yeah, this is wonderful PR, but I'm a man in my 30s that's known when a mute button is for a long time.
yeah,
Like I like the idea of making it harder for a 13-year-old to join a COD lobby. Sure, dude. But like how were you
how do you do
how?
that? How
Right.
exactly
Like
do you do
what
that?
actually is this? And until I see anything like cool, dude.
And it's like, how much can they even do? Like, how there should be more onus on the parents. That really doesn't seem like it's going to be that much of an issue in the future because video games were relatively new when we were kind of getting into it in terms of like really adult level gaming. And I would imagine as our generation becomes parents and we have children, we're going to be a lot more apt to that stuff. Where it's like
I
my parents had
hope.
no fucking idea that like you could like fuck a hooker in GTA, GTA 3 when
Yeah,
you first came out.
true. I mean, I hope so, but at the same time, like don't I don't know because there's also I would also say our generation's definitely fucked in its own way,
True.
and
They'd be like, no,
especially
you want
like
them to go view the sex workers. You want them to have
yeah.
sex.
Well, like, I mean, especially people who've already had kids that I know are like you're either like we're waiting till we're 30 and rich, or you accidentally had a kid at 20.
Yeah,
And
there's no.
there isn't an in between.
That's very
So
true.
like I hope we do better, but at the same time, like it is a little harder where like if you're not plugged into everything, like sure you know what you have an idea of what games are good or bad, but like I still don't know. I mean, if I am assuming my kids like me, like I don't know what rules to make because I'm assuming my kid's gonna be smart enough to get around them like I did.
Yeah.
Like,
And
like,
let me just ask you, like, what are kids even into right now? You
yeah,
like actually into, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know. Like,
like,
who the fuck
am I gonna
knows?
show like the shitty part too is also us being with YouTube and stuff like that is like, oh yeah, if I had a 5-year-old right now, it sucks because my base reaction is like put them on YouTube Kids. Except I work with YouTube, so
So
I
you know
know
how
to
fucked it
not get
is.
put them on the YouTube
You
Kids.
know how
Like,
fucked it is, yeah. Well, it's a good PR thing. We'll see what this does. And then some game announcements. Super Meat Boy Forever, December 23rd comes out. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game complete edition, January 14th. What's Cyber Shadow?
Cyber Shadow is the game that's being published by Yacht Club Games. It's a really cool looking Ninja Gaiden style game that
Okay.
was
also,
announced. The release date was given today at the indie show.
that sounds cool. If we're gonna actually start talking about some newer games too, I think I know this episode's been going on for a long time, and I'm okay with still going for a little bit extra because like I said, I took pre-workout. Basically, I'm good to go. Uh, but I feel like we should just really quickly mention Game Awards
Oh
because
yeah.
awards happen, but also there was a lot of games announced.
All right. Well, this is what
Some
we'll
look good,
do.
some look bad.
Let me touch on real quick on. Let's just do
Perfect Dark.
let's do the
That looks
Nvidia
amazing.
thing real quick.
I was pretty hyped to see Perfect Dark come out. Like that's Xbox, Microsoft finally using the property that they bought like 25 years ago. About damn time. Or whatever. Yeah, God, it would be like 18 years ago at this point.
I've never played Perfect Dark. That's a game that I have
It's
never
aged.
played.
It's aged. It's old. N64 shooters have
Is
not
it like a
aged well.
GoldenEye?
Similar, but a little more open. I'm just excited. The idea of having them bring that IP back is something I've been saying that Microsoft needs IP to sell. And they've been sitting on that IP from Rare for God knows how long.
Yeah. What is it exactly?
It's Perfect Dark CG trailer, so I assume either a remake or just a brand new title in the series.
But no, well, what's Perfect Dark? Just a first-person shooter, like
First person
story
shooter,
driven?
it's kind of cyberpunky. Definitely like in the vein of like a Deus Ex Machina, like if you remember the original Deus Ex.
Yeah. Okay.
Not open
They
world.
do need IP.
In like Cyberpunk 2077.
Was it a
but,
popular game?
it definitely had its fans on the N64.
Okay.
You know, it's
I
a Rare
remember
game.
it, but I've never played it. I've never.
Yeah, that's
Makes
one of the
sense.
time when like Rare was kicking out all these like great games on the N64.
What else was announced at Game Awards? I don't remember. It really wasn't too much.
There was an Evil Dead game that got announced. It's kind of in the vein of Friday the 13th.
It looks like
Oh,
Left
yeah,
4
there's-
Dead.
There was a Left
I
4
like
Dead
Bruce
clone.
Campbell. So that's cool. Well, it's not a left. I think it's isn't it not the same team that did Left 4 Dead?
It is or
It
it
might-
isn't?
I think it's the same team that did Left 4 Dead. Is Back for Blood.
Yeah, I saw the Back for
It's
Blood. It looked
essentially Left 4
interesting.
Dead 3. Like for all intents and purposes, it's Left 4 Dead 3. But you know how Valve could never make a game that has a 3 in it.
Okay,
I
yeah,
love
from
Left 4
PC Game-
Dead. Left
from
4 Dead
P- okay.
fucking rocks.
Yeah,
This is from
it's-
PC Gamer. Back for Blood is basically Left 4 Dead 3, and I can't stress how that isn't a problem.
I'm excited for that. I mean, I have lots of fond memories of the Left 4 Dead series. So
Yeah, okay, it is made by a majority of the people who made Left 4 Dead.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. When I saw that trailer, I was like, "Is this Left 4 Dead 3? Are we actually getting it?" And then it's like,
Yeah,
Back
no,
for
it looked
Blood. I'm
exactly like it.
Okay, it's Left 4 Dead 3.
This website
Yeah.
has to load.
No, it is mostly the same core team.
What else got announced?
That was a-
there
that was a
was
hype
there was
one.
Arc 2 with
Oh, that looked
Diesel.
with Vin Diesel. Why, dude?
Arc 2.
Arc still barely runs like shit. Like
Yeah, they're making it. Not only are they making a sequel, but they're making an animated series that features
I will.
a ton of actors and actresses, as well as Russell Crowe and Vin Diesel.
Yeah, that was fucking weird.
Yeah, it was.
Can we talk about one that I'm like
What
very
the fuck?
cautiously?
Vin Diesel in Arc?
You
What
didn't
does
see
that
this?
even? No,
thought
I
it was
didn't
gonna
It's
see
be-
Vin
that.
Diesel, dude. It's
I
straight
thought
up
it was
CG
gonna
Vin
be-
Diesel.
Why in
I thought it-
Arc? That's so
I thought it was
odd.
gonna be Turok at first. I was like, "Yo,
Yeah,
is this gonna be
or
Vin
something.
Diesel as Turok? That'd be cool."
But Arc?
But then it's also like, okay, now there's a
Dinosaur
there's a
Minecraft?
child and other weird things in Arc like that
Hey, this
have
is
never
the
been in
second-
Arc.
Is this the back-to-back time where Vin Diesel has been at the end of the Game Awards, essentially?
I guess so.
I will say Arc is pretty cool. I'm not a
like
fan
it's
of
not
it.
a bad game. It's fun, but
Yeah.
it's just
It's
this
odd.
trailer makes me very confused because it's
It's like a story now?
right. And speaking of another game that was an MMO and is now a story, Crimson Desert. I'm
That looked
cautiously
interesting.
optimistic.
looked
Cautiously
interesting.
optimistic. Okay, it's from the makers. It's Korean. It's Black Desert Online.
Oh,
That's
okay.
who the development studio is.
But now
And
it's
their
what I
combat,
heard.
their combat for MMOs is amazing. But this is a first-person story game.
Oh, that could be cool.
Cautiously optimistic because that game looked fucking gorgeous. That game looked amazing and kind of awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at this trailer right now.
Like cautiously optimistic because that actually looked
The only thing that worries me
looks
is
so
it's gonna
cool.
be filled with like HUD elements and fucking numbers flying everywhere.
See,
That's what a
well,
lot of
that's
those
the
games are
thing.
like.
That's the hope that it won't be because it's a single player experience. It's not
Yeah.
an MMO.
Yeah, it does look fucking
So
amazing. Man, these new
it,
games they look so good, don't they?
yeah.
The one I will say, one of the things that happened to the Game Awards that I can't believe it happened, but it finally did. Um, rest in peace, Red versus Blue.
Oh
That
yeah.
crossover with Fortnite
I think it's
made me
apt. I think
question everything. It just
Oh
reminded me
yeah.
that, like, oh hey, Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead, Red versus Blue still exists, and it
Yeah, it's
should.
in
It should.
Fortnite with Master Chief is now in Fortnite.
I think it's
And
apt. It makes
I
sense
do
to
like the
me.
self-referential humor where he's just like, we're from Red versus Blue, which you probably watched 10 years ago. It's like, yeah, I did watch it 10 years ago. Don't watch it anymore. They
Yeah.
still make new ones.
It's cute.
It flew over if that one jumped the shark a long time ago.
New Mass Effect.
Well, and I will
Uh,
say that Crimson,
Does no one care about New
Desert.
Mass Effect?
Well,
how can I
no,
just
not yet, because like I still love Mass Effect. I didn't play the last one because I just never got around to it.
don't
It had
plan
bad
to?
reviews.
It's
But
okay.
the it's hard to it's Mass Effect doesn't have that reach that like Elder Scrolls does, where you can just say there's one eventually and give me to care about it.
Yeah.
They actually needed to
No,
say like
yeah.
here's a game, not just
Yeah,
one day
yeah,
there will
yeah.
be Mass
I mean,
Effect.
Yeah.
it peaked at Mass Effect 2, and then has gone downhill since.
Yeah. I will say that
Isn't there only three?
Crimson Desert game was all
In-game?
There's 4.
Supposedly in
for
There's
game.
Andromeda. But apparently, the new Mass Effect is going to pretty much ignore Andromeda and continue from Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
Interesting. I was gonna say the Crimson Desert stuff, that was gameplay.
Yeah,
That wasn't
yeah,
apparently
it looks like
rendered.
gameplay.
That was gameplay.
It looks like
I
gameplay.
appreciate gameplay.
Yeah, me
And
too.
it looks phenomenal.
I think most
so
people after
cautiously optimistic.
after Cyberpunk, I think most people are gonna demand gameplay. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a couple other
Let's see. There
weird
was
ones.
a bunch of small stuff, but nothing really impressive for me.
You want to
Uh,
talk about the
it-
winners?
Joseph
winners-
Fares' It Takes
sure.
Two looked cool.
that looked interesting. Yeah,
It looked
the
better
trailer
than
was good.
a way out. It looked like that was like a more fun co-op game.
Yeah, yeah, it did. And I like the theme and idea of it. That was cute and creative, and a good idea because I feel like I don't know that's like a weird going back to like us getting older and our generation playing games growing up getting older like that feels like there is a market there that hasn't been tapped of like what do 35-year-old married couples play together
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's a weird market there.
Oh, there's another
Animal
Dragon Age
Crossing,
too.
Animal Crossing is apparently the thing they play together.
I mean we do so
Yeah, and Verve and his wife as well.
All right. Winners.
it was Last of Us 2 I guess.
Last of Us 2.
Pretty much
And
was
Among
Last
Us.
of Us too.
Among Us won all of its
Among Us
awards.
won-
I told
yeah.
you.
Best mobile and best multiplayer, which is not a surprise. Hades won best indie, which was of course, and then I think it won best action. Maybe I can't. It won something else.
So Last of Us won Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Narrative. I think all deserved. Best Art Direction went to Ghost of Tsushima, which does not deserve it. Over Hades, over Ori, over Last of Us. No, they had to give it something, I guess. Best Score in Music, Final Fantasy, which I think Hades should have taken that one. I mean, I would even argue Last of Us could have taken that one too. Best Audio Design, Last of Us. I think that's deserved. Best Performance, Laura Bailey as Abby. I think that's deserved, but it could have went to Ashley Johnson. Logan Cunningham as Hades is pretty cool. Miles Morales, I will say I like the Miles Morales character so far. I haven't gotten too deep into that game, but I'm excited to see how that performance is. Games for Impact, Tell Me Why, which I found out is more of like that story game that's like that one teenager game that I played and fucking hated. What was it called?
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange, yeah. No Man's Sky, best ongoing game. Very
Best,
shocked when he won
also
that.
one of the best interviews. He seriously was there, shit faced, actually genuinely surprised.
Yeah, they deserve it. The fact that people are like, this game, we like it now, we play it. That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, all credit to him, but it like that was a hilarious interview of like you could tell he was just like he he
He
didn't
was
know what to
out.
say. He was just trolling basically. Like, sure.
Best indie Hades. That's not a surprise. Best mobile game, Among Us. I would say the only thing that really competes with that would be Genshin Impact,
Big Genshin, yeah.
but
And Genshin, I
Among Us.
think if it was a normal year, Genshin would have won.
Yeah,
But
Among Us
like,
being like in the zeitgeist, of course, it's gonna.
right, like it was the flip side of like, and I saw people being mad because Among Us is technically a 2-year-old game, but like I agree with that, but I also sitting here like Among Us was
If we're gonna
so
make that
big.
same, we're gonna make that same argument. Like, then we can easily make the argument that Hades shouldn't have been up for any awards because it was an early
Right,
access. It was a
right,
game.
Yeah.
Listen, it
right.
doesn't really matter when the game came out. Like, Among Us was a special case of the perfect circumstances
Yeah.
that led to
And
its success.
but the flip side of that too is like, I mean, its success made careers entirely.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like, okay, so the content creator of the year, Ray, she won. That's from Among Us because she went from like 600,000 YouTube subscribers to being the biggest streamer on YouTube and basically making streaming on YouTube relevant
Yeah, it's crazy. From Among
entirely.
Us.
Right. Like like I subbed to her. Like
Yeah.
she now has on average, I think 70, like 60 to 80K viewers on fucking YouTube.
Yeah, it's
Like
pretty good.
you don't even see those numbers usually on Twitch. Like YouTube gaming is
I
now a
think like
thing actually for live
50,000.
streaming.
50,000 is like the top tier, like normal limit, other than like
Right.
when AOC comes on and gets like 500,000 or something.
Right. And she's there and beating it on YouTube. And then she's been able to prove that rating across platforms works because she then goes and rates Twitch streamers and they get like a 20K bump. It's kind of nuts to me actually.
Yeah.
But
I would
I mean,
argue
like,
that
that
Genshin
they
is the
made it
better
from that.
game. I would argue that.
I disagree. But I'm an Among Us stan, so
Yeah.
it depends on what
Among
you
Us is
like.
fun, but I don't know. I'm not. That's not something like I willingly want to play.
That's fair. I do. I like the social deduction games like Mafia and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah.
why it's cool to me. But I mean, it made YouTube gaming relevant. It made Pokimane even more relevant, and it brought Disguised Toast back from the grave, and they both made Forbes 30 under 30,
Yeah.
literally because of Among Us, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely fucking super popular.
Like
Best
that's insane.
best community support, Fall Guys, which is pretty cool. Best AR, Half-Life Alex. I'm surprised that wasn't nominated for best game. That's probably the biggest disappointment, in my opinion. Innovation, accessibility, Last of Us. That's no surprise. Best action. Best action went to Hades,
Didn't
which is deserved. In that
didn't
category.
Ghost win something?
It won best art direction.
Okay, because I saw people were I guess they were definitely fans I saw in chats of Ghosts who wanted Ghosts to win more than it did.
Yeah. A lot. Yeah, a lot of people really liked Ghost and were rooting for Ghost, but I think a lot of that also came from the hatred of Last of Us. I think a lot of that was like a reaction towards, because I really like Ghost is fun, but it honestly is like Assassin's Creed. Like it's really not that much different. Last of Us won best action adventure. It won a lot, man. The game fucking
Yeah.
swept it. Best
No,
role playing,
yeah,
Final
basically
Fantasy
everything.
VII. Best fighting, Mortal Kombat.
Dude, that I'm not gonna lie, that still triggers me. It still triggers me. It still triggered me. The whole section of RPG still triggers me. It's not even. It's partially Final Fantasy winning it because I don't think remakes should, but I can understand it, and at least they did something different. Just the way they worded RPG still triggers me because none of those, by their definition of an RPG, is a fucking RPG.
Yeah,
Literally none of them.
yeah. I don't really know anything about Wasteland. Maybe Wasteland?
Even Wasteland isn't even by their
I don't know. I
definition
don't
an
know that game.
RPG. Is the issue like.
Yeah, no, I hear
Basically,
you.
the way they wrote RPG was for games like Skyrim.
Right.
or Fallout. They
Right.
wrote it as you make a character and role play as that character.
Yeah. But
None of these games do that
no.
at all.
You play
Period.
as the character and you can't customize them.
Right.
Yeah,
This
it's so stupid.
congrats, the winner of the RPG where you make and role play a character and make decisions and gear choices was Cloud, and you get the bigger sword.
No, you don't. You get a sword with 3 different
Oh
jewels
yeah, I'm
on
sorry,
it.
the bigger sword's not even out yet. I'm wrong.
You either get 2 jewels or you get 3 jewels on your sword. Best fighting Mortal Kombat, best family Animal Crossing, best sim flight sim, which definitely
That
deserved.
I see why
I
it
said
won.
I said I was gonna. I said
You
I
know,
thought it was
you
gonna
did.
win, and I was right.
And
I'm
I
excited
knew
actually.
I
It's an
knew it was gonna
amazing
win,
game. It
but
really is.
It's coming to Xbox Series X this I think this summer.
You got to get that
Which is kind of
controller, dude.
impressive.
You got to get the
It's
button
one of those.
controller.
Yeah. It's one of those. Yes, it should have won. It's impressive as hell. I still like CK3 more.
I
don't
got to
think-
play it because I keep hearing amazing things about it.
Well, and that's just because like I'm a big fan of map games like that. I fully acknowledge that like CK3 will never fucking win
It's a
because it's a
niche.
map game. Like
Yeah.
I tried to
there's
play Civ 5.
there's
and it just
100,000
was
of
not
us.
my game. The Civ series, like that kind of gameplay, the map games, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
oh, and I love that shit.
It's a niche.
But like, yeah, exactly. It's a complete niche, and I'm okay with that. I knew it was, and
But so is
if
Flight
there's-
Sim, kind of. Flight Sim is
well,
pretty
no, that's
nichey.
that's the thing is Flight Sim is entirely a niche game. It's even more of a niche than map games.
Yeah.
Map games are way more popular, but the reason why Flight Sim deserves to win and what's going to win is, I mean, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Like you're playing on Google Earth.
It's amazing.
Like it's insane. I know it's like by every means it's a technical phenomenon.
Yeah, it's an
Like-
amazing thing. You ever see like the builds that people make for those Sims too? It's really impressive. I mean, they have people that are they have like the headset controllers of like people that are just standing by waiting to guide you through the game or through like the whatever map that you have to go to. It's really fucking intense. Best
No,
sports
it
win to
entirely
Tony
deserves it.
Hawk, which is amazing. It didn't go to any of the other fucking like EA games.
I mean, have you played any of them this year?
Yeah, I have. I have. Unfortunately, best multiplayer Among Us, beating out Warzone, beating out Valorant, beating out.
I know Warzone
Animal
people were
Crossing.
super pissed.
I mean, yeah, I
And
would.
fuck them.
I would disagree with the Among Us, but I'm not that sold on Warzone winning anything either. Content Creator of the Year went to Valkyrie. Best debut game, Phasmobium. Phasmophobia.
That was-
Phasmophobia.
That was
Phasmophobia?
cool, but also like weird. That was just also another one
I
of
don't know
those
that game.
segments
It's
that
just
was like weird. It's
stupid
cool. It's a ghost chasing game.
I think those are so stupid.
Yeah. It enjoyed a really good 2 weeks of YouTube and then disappeared.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Best
Like-
esport player, Showmaker, League of Legends, which I am so addicted to. Not even funny.
I was surprised like that one, but like something like Valorant wasn't in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't even really like Valorant that much, but I would argue that's a much bigger impact for a new game this year than ghost chasing.
Yeah. Esports coach, Zonic. Esports
Yeah,
event,
Sonic deserved that.
League of Legends World Champion 2020.
Sonic deserved it for like the last 5 years.
He got it. Best esport game, League of Legends. Best esports host.
I guess that's deserved because CS is in a deep dark spot at the moment.
Yeah, League is
There's a lot
League
of
is enjoying
drama
a nice little
in-
boon too. It's pretty
Well, it's because Valorant's eating all of North America when it comes to shooters, and that brings everyone back into a riot sphere.
CS is so much better, man. From
It
what
is,
from
but
what I've played,
it's the scene is
it's not good.
no, the scene's a total fucking shit show at the moment.
Why? Because half of them want to do Valorant now.
Well, a lot of NA switching to Valorant because the scene's basically dying, and a lot of that's due to tournament organizers, but then also this pseudo players union that's actually a player agency fucking anyone who isn't a tier 1 player over.
Yeah.
So all the tier 2 players are like, well, I can make more money in Valorant, so bye.
Well, that's what I mean. That is a good thing. Eventually, it's just kind of pushing them to, push the industry.
Yeah, no, but that's its own story to get into some other day of like
The
the
fall of CS.
basically like CS really right now is in a spot of it's either going to live or die by like the next couple of months.
Wow.
At least like that high level pro scene of it being a tier 1 esport.
Yeah. Interesting. And Valorant might replace that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it already's doing that in North America just because everyone left because the top of CS is doing a lot of shady shit.
Interesting. Best esports team G2, and that's it. That's the winners.
That's I hate that. I hate that. I hate the best esports team award because as someone who's very into esports, it's always it's just a fan vote.
That's
That's all.
what a
It's a
lot of
fan
this
vote.
is, to be honest.
And true, but it's just like
G2 is
okay,
pretty
so
big.
the winner is G2 Esports, the best team in Europe who still goes out in Worlds round 1. Yep,
Yeah.
they're the best team in the world. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, what would it, I mean,
Like,
I don't know. It's stupid. The Game Awards. Honestly, I think the Game Awards really are now just a great showcase of like these were good
that's
shit that came out this year, so let's
yeah. Well,
appreciate
then
it.
that's more of an issue with esports in the Western world of like you could give it to a CS team who genuinely is the best in the world at their sport, but they're gonna give it to the top tier esports team of League of Legends who actually on the world stage is the 16th best team.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I'm not surprised Last of Us swept it. I do think it's one of the best games ever made.
All right, do you want to get into the bras?
All right, well, let's do. Okay, Pro Raw is cool. Um, Apple Pro Raw is cool. I've been using it. It's not night and day. Like you're not seeing like a night and day raw
It's not
image.
raw.
Oops.
It's pro raw. It's ProRes.
Not even. It's more of just like they're just like here's the file. Here's the actual file without any sort of coloring to it at all. So you're just getting a little bit extra dynamic range. You're getting a little bit extra color data because it is there. Like you can see the difference in the editing, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like a real, like a raw image you would get from like a camera or something.
Right.
But it makes me happy because, I mean, from what I know, this is the only raw image on a mobile device, like an actual like raw file reading of an actual device. Right now, Lightroom reads it as a DNG, which is fine,
Yeah.
but it's not raw yet.
Well, and I don't think it ever will be fully raw because that's why I was saying it's ProRes. Like that's what it reads to me is like, okay, you can either get your base image or you can hook up an Atomos and you get ProRes, which is a really solid image and you can kind of tweak it. And then there's ProRes RAW or Blackmagic RAW,
Yeah.
like true RAW.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does a good. I mean, you're getting like a 22 megabyte file. It doesn't break down as quickly. You can definitely. I definitely would recommend most people use it if you're gonna like throw filters and stuff on your stuff. But don't expect to like completely. You can completely change everything about a raw image, which is what's cool about it. Now, I'm hoping this is the standard. Like I hope like this becomes like the standard in terms of mobile photography. Like everyone should just stop trying to add all the weird filters that you guys do, like all the weird Samsungs, and don't throw the sharpening things or the softeners on it, the face features. Just let it read out, or give us an option to let it read out whatever's on that sensor, and then don't even compress it, don't even touch it. Just give it to us so we can fuck with it, because it does give you a little bit more latitude.
Also, give me a phone with a 1-inch sensor.
Oh, please. Please, for the love of God. With a mount on it.
It doesn't even,
give me
I
the
mean,
M
it doesn't
mount
even
or
have to have a.
something.
I mean, sure, but like, it doesn't even have to have a mount entirely. Like, at work with Moment, make it adaptable
That's what I mean.
for
Like, give me some sort of like way
them.
I can put like a bigger glass element on it when I want to.
Fair. But I just think it'd be cool to get like a. I mean, base.
That'd be huge.
I
That'd
don't
be
even want
awesome.
like interchangeable lenses would be cool, but like I just want a ZV-1 with a phone screen on the back,
Yes, exactly. 100%. So yeah, Pro Raw is out, which is cool. I'm
and
loving it.
then use Epoch Cam, and you never have to buy a streaming camera ever again.
No, it'd be awesome. I don't know why this doesn't exist yet. I mean, we've had 1-inch sensors for years now. You would think someone were to do it. Didn't Zeiss do it? If I
I mean, they
remember,
made that the Android phone camera thing for $6,000, yeah.
yeah, something like that. I
But
forget. It's
yeah, we just talked
something.
about it like a week or two ago, and it was you're not gonna pay six
No,
grand
but
for
I'm thinking
a ZV-1 with
no,
Android.
no, but I'm thinking of not that. That was the Sigma one. I'm thinking, or maybe it was the Zeiss one. I
No, that
forget.
was nice. That was nice.
I'm thinking of the actual phone that actually had like a
Are you thinking like that
telescope.
cool
I
Nokia,
forget.
the cool yellow Nokia with the first one to ever break like 40 megapixels on a phone camera
I don't remember what company it was. No, not that one with the no, with
with
the
the hump,
seven
dude?
cameras on the back.
Yeah, not seven, it wasn't seven, but it was like just it actually had a hump on the back because it actually needed it.
Ah, fuck, I don't remember. It actually had like a telescope. It looked like someone slapped like an RX 100 on the back of a phone, but it was a piece of shit. Yeah, I would agree. I would love to see like an Apple or a Samsung or like a Sony Samsung partnership with an Android phone. That'd be so sick. And then we have Apple Headphone Max, the AirPods Max. They're like $600. They look really nice. They're milled out of aluminum.
I don't think they look that nice, but
I think they look pretty good.
I think they look acceptable.
I think
That's as far as I'll go with them because I think
I mean it's definitely
they
like a taste. Yeah, there's definitely like a
yeah.
taste to it.
Well, like for me,
They're kind of
they
feminine.
tried they played it too safe, so it just looks fake high class to me. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where like if I'm thinking like a $500 pair of headphones, there's some really sexy headphones for $500, and these are not on that list to me.
I would also say these are a little feminine looking.
Right, and that's fine, but like I think Sony's like better at 300. Like I think they could have done a cooler looking set of cans, but that's my like to me it looks like they tried to make a fake pair of Bose.
I see what you mean.
And
I
then
think they
they
look
have
pretty
like
Apple.
the Apple little tiny metal strip that looks like it's gonna break and looks like shit.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty it looks kind of like their watch with the crown on there.
I just think there's things they could have done better. And it's mostly with the headband. The
The
actual
headband looks a
cans
little
themselves,
weird.
I think the cans look fine. It's the headband. And
Yeah.
it's the way the headband attaches to the cans where it's just like that doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, the headband is a little odd. But I'm curious to know how they sound because I'm a big fan of Apple's sound
Oh yeah.
signature right now. Would I buy something like this for that much money when you can get such better head? I mean, I don't know because I haven't heard
Well,
them.
that's we haven't heard them. That I'm waiting to judge them until we actually see reviews of how they sound.
Yeah, I want to
Because
see how they sound.
I saw a lot of people omega lawing basically of like $550 headphones from Apple. Why the fuck would you ever do that? While people buy Beats like they're candy and they're all idiots.
And Apple
So
makes
like
a great sound. Like what they can do in the AirPods is truly like their speakers on their laptops are amazing. Their phone speakers are the best in the business. I have no doubt they'll make it sound good, but I just
but
want
it's
to
gonna
know,
be 550 good. That's
yeah,
the hard part.
which is really tough because there's some really good headphones for even like $300.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Especially once you like even wireless headphones, there's some really good ones for $300
yeah.
nowadays.
And like the
But even
fact
if you
that
go
there's
like
no wire, you have to hook it up through Lightning. I mean, there's a lot of weird little Apple things that they do to it.
yeah. And that does kind of suck. Like just put a regular fucking jack on it too. It's okay.
I know.
It's a $550 pair of fucking headphones. Let me wear them wired if I want to.
Yeah, it's very very Apple It's cool. Like I'm happy they did
I
it. I am happy they did it.
I'm cautiously intrigued, but I'm not expecting them to be good.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not expecting to. This might be one of those Apple products that I just kind of skip over.
It might be a HomePod.
Yeah, one of those HomePod situations where the price is just not quite worth it for what you get.
Yeah, and that's again to say the HomePod's a good speaker, but the fact that you can't plug a fucking normal device into it.
Right. It's like in that market, because this is competing technically in like the wireless headphone ANC market.
Right. For 550 bucks, I want something that I can put into a fucking DAC and an amp and actually make it sound good.
Yeah, I mean, it would have
I
to
can't do that
sound
with this.
if this would have to sound like an $800 headphone for me to consider it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Like you're sacrificing
which I
too
could.
much
I mean, I
there.
could consider it if it sounded like an $800 headphone. I would
Yeah, and
have
I
to.
would.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like if it sounds as good as a $600 pair of headphones should, it's great. They just gotta make it sound as good as a $600 pair of headphones should.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were saying like, "Oh my God, why would they ever really?" I mean, it's like in high-end audio, this is really cheap. Actually, this is really not that expensive.
I mean, if you can make this sound as good as a pair of vocals hooked up to a proper DAC and stack, like
And I
hell
actually
yeah,
have,
brother. Like
I do have faith Apple could do that. They got the THX guy over there. They do great work with audio, but definitely listen. Like the fact that they were sold out of pre-orders, no one has even listened to them. That's insane. And people would just like these are sound signatures very taste specific. You have to really know what you want if you're gonna spend that. I guess people don't care. They just want the next Apple thing. Automatic switching on it, audio sharing, Siri capabilities. You have the Crown. You have the ANC, which I hear is pretty good. You have the spatial audio, which is actually awesome, which I
yeah.
hope more companies do. But other
But
than that, you just have to rely on, is Apple able to give you that sound signature that is
I mean,
worth
it's
that
that,
price?
but then it's still the reason why I still never end up buying them is the same reason with the HomePod of like I can trust that you can do a good speaker and or a good set of sound signature, but it's ultimately it's a fucking speaker. The speaker theoretically to me it should last as long as I'm alive.
Yeah, technically.
And you can't do that if it's tied to a lightning cable only of one set of Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know why they didn't just throw even a 2.5 millimeter like what Bose does.
yeah, like and that was my problem with the HomePod is like, all right, so if HomePod fails and then in 7 years from now they pull support from it, like cool, you got a dead product. When if you bought any other speaker for that price, you just plug a 3.5 into it and it still fucking works.
Yeah, and you can buy aftermarket band like these headphones. You can like swap these things out and the shells out. I mean, there's a
I mean, I've got a pair of tin E2s that I need to buy a new cable for because I go through the cables for them like crazy.
yeah, and you can
Like,
you wouldn't be able
yeah,
to do that. Yeah, it's a very valid point, and like that's
and it's
what
just those
high end
little
audio is.
things, right? And it's those little things of like that's my reasoning for buying expensive audio is like it's an investment, but it's like a
It's gonna
cool. I
last.
have a banging speaker that you know, my parents still have a speaker older than them that is absolutely banging because ultimately it's a fucking cone
Yeah.
that runs power through it.
Yep.
Let me put a jack on it and just guarantee that hey, for this is gonna fucking work for 20 years.
Now, something like the AirPods, I can make an exception because this is a convenience factor and they're priced appropriately. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll deal with the downsides of Bluetooth or something like this. But like $600, I mean,
For over the ear cans.
for over-the-ear headphones without a jack, they gotta
Yeah.
sound like an $800 headphone, and they could. They absolutely could. I do have faith that Apple could do that, but I mean, it's doubtful. You know, there is doubt.
Well, I mean
there.
the AirPod Pros finally got to a level of acceptability to me. Like I would argue that for $250 you can find better sounding like drivers and
Oh, 100%.
wireless drivers, but they're at least in the same range. Like
Yeah,
You can find better ones, but at the same time, I don't feel like spending $200 on them is a bad deal.
Right. And it's mainly because they're small and they're discreet, and
Well,
you
but
get
the
that
sound
sound in that
the
small
sound
tiny
quality's
thing.
still been getting to the quality level though of like, yeah, if they're $200, I don't give a shit. They're actually pretty solid.
Yeah. For the maxes, it's a different that you're in a different sort of realm. It's a different mindset of purchasing. I don't know. I just don't like the HomePod. I don't know if that's something that I'm ever gonna get into with Apple.
But
But
a HomePod Mini, if it's only $100, I can maybe think about that more.
yeah, like if they milled that out of just regular, like, I don't know, any other material, and they were like $200, I would definitely consider them over like a Sony, WX1000M H4s or whatever they're called.
Yeah, but
But
then
now they're
whenever
like $300
things,
more than them.
yeah, and then you see the 100, the lower version of the 100s now drop to like $80 on
Yeah, and they
Black
sound
Fridays, and
excellent. Like, they sound excellent. So we'll
yeah.
see. I do, whatever. Apple, I love when Apple does that stuff, though. It might not be for me, but I love when they release stuff like that because it is pretty cool. All
I do and
right,
I don't.
I'd
Is it
rather
like,
them do it than just fucking not do it, than just computer chips and cell phones. I
yeah,
like the weird little
that's
Apple stuff that they do.
that's true, but like for me, I'd rather them
The AirPods to
focus.
me are such a home run. That's what I like about it, because sometimes they do have something that's like
Well,
they
right,
hit it out of the
right, but
park.
like to me, like I'm sitting here like, okay, instead of them making, and I understand the idea of making a Halo product, but for me, it's just like, okay, I don't give a shit about your Halo product. Like, make the $100 pair of AirPods actually sound good, please.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want your focus to be. It's like, no, I want you to get to the point of like $130 pair of AirPods sounds like $170 pair of Sony's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I want to see. You know what I mean?
All right, this is the last story. Nvidia. Okay, so you haven't heard about this. So Nvidia sent Steve from Hardware Unboxed, not Hardware Unlocked, Hardware Unboxed. Steve from Hardware Unboxed, not Steve from Gamers Nexus, but Steve from Hardware Unboxed. They sent this letter. Hi, Steve. We've reached a critical juncture in the adoption of ray tracing, and it has gained industry-wide support from top titles, developers, game engines, APIs, consoles, and GPUs. As you may know, NVIDIA is all in for ray tracing. RT is important and core to the future of gaming, but it's also one part of our focused R&D efforts on revolutionizing video games and creating a better experience for gamers. This philosophy is also reflected in developing technologies such as DLSS, Reflex, and Broadcast that offer immense value to customers who are purchasing a GPU. They don't get free GPUs, they work hard for their money, and they keep their GPUs for multiple years. Despite all this progress, your GPU reviews and recommendations have continued to focus singularly on rasterization performance, and you have largely discounted all the other technologies we offer gamers. It is very clear from your community commentary that you do not see things the same way that we, gamers, and the rest of the industry do. Our founders' edition boards and other NVIDIA products are being allocated to media outlets that recognize the changing landscape of gaming and the features that are important to gamers and anyone buying a GPU today, be it for gaming, content creation, or studio and streaming. Hardware Unboxed should continue to work with our add-in card partners to secure GPUs to review. Of course, you will still have access to obtain pre-release drivers and press materials. That won't change. We are open to revisiting this in the future should your editorial direction change. Brian Del Rizzo.
Cap.
How insane is that? So
what the fuck, Nvidia, dude? Get fucked.
how insane is that letter? It almost doesn't sound right.
No, it sounds like, hey, you're not hyping us up, so we're not going to send you GPUs.
To me, it
Because you
sounds like
talk-
there's a
because you're not-
personal issue.
Yeah, entirely. No, that's
And
entirely.
I don't
what
think it has
reads like.
anything to do with his reviews. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like there's some sort of underlying personal despair. Maybe something happened, because this is out of control. This is such
Yeah.
they're basically saying, like, we don't like your reviews, like, publicly. They know that he's going to post this. We don't like your reviews. We think that everyone is against you. And guess what? We're not going to give you our cards. You'll still get the drivers, whatever. You're going to have to get them from the AIBs. But, like, what the fuck?
And
It's so weird, dude.
Everyone agrees with him
Yeah. It's
because
so
he's
weird.
right. Because as someone with an RTX card, don't buy it for RTX. Minecraft's finally out, dude. Guess what? I can play it in 5 frames. Fucking Minecraft at 5 frames per second.
It's such a weird. It's so weird. And now everyone was piling on, like saying like, I've dealt with Brian Del Rizzo. It's odd he would ever say anything like this. Everyone's wondering why Nvidia did this. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's why it makes me think there's like a personal issue here.
They say they rolled it back, but like that's
Oh, did they?
yeah. If you go farther down in that article, they say Nvidia apologized
see.
and rolled everything back and apologized and admitted they fucked up. But like,
Okay, but
what?
why did you send it in the first place? That's
Yeah.
what we want to know. What
'Cause
were you
I kind of agree with
thinking?
your idea that maybe it's something to do with Steve specifically, but their actual reasoning is like, no. Like, yes, DLSS is considered a cool add-on and like it could be a cool feature. And same with ray tracing. Like one day those could be cool features.
I'm gonna
Don't fucking buy the card for those features.
I'm
at the
gonna
moment.
disagree with you actually. I'm gonna say because the performance now from them and AMD are pretty similar, I would say you should base your decision on like the other shit around the card. Like, is future
If
RTX
I would
support, DLSS support, reflex, and broadcast important to you? Then that you might want to base your decision on that.
I think they do matter, but it's Nvidia is sitting here trying to argue that like no,
Right.
there should be like 50% of your purchase. No, fuck no, it's like fucking 5% maybe.
Yeah,
Because
it's
the
something you take
biggest,
into account. You know.
it is something to take into account. I don't disagree with that, but like there's still fucking 10 games.
Yeah. No,
Like it's been 2 years, and even with DLSS, Cyberpunk still runs like shit.
And no
Like,
one even like
it's
covers.
not there yet.
No one even really covers it. You know what I mean? Like no one even like. This is what makes me
There's
think
nothing
it's
to cover.
personal. It sounds like because they're like at the community, us, the community, and all the other reviewers understand that this is the future of this. Except for you, so we're not gonna. But it's like,
And
wait, they
it is-
don't, they don't agree with you there. They don't
Right.
really even cover it. There's nothing to really cover. It's
And that's
such a
the
weird.
argument.
It was when I read this, I was like, "What the fuck were they doing?" There has to be
Yeah.
a personal discrepancy behind this, or maybe they felt slighted by him, because it sounds like vindictive.
Yeah, no, it sounds and it sounds incredibly insane to me.
I know.
It's like no, sorry, they reviewed an AMD GPU positively because for pure performance, it's closer. You guys are closer than you've ever been. AMD is competitive again, but they didn't highlight the bonus features enough because they're cool. If they matter to you, it's the it's the CUDA argument to me. Like, does CUDA matter to you if CUDA matters to you?
Yes.
And the
right.
same thing with ray tracing to me is like, if you really care about that, yes, it will eventually one day matter. But right now, there's a reason why every single thing is Control's a great game. Have you heard about Control? Control's such a good game. Look how great it runs with ray tracing and DLSS. Control's so good. That's fucking it.
I mean, to be fair, it is fucking amazing. But like,
Right, but-
like this
and-
would have way more. Yeah, you're right. This would have way more weight if there were a lot more. If it was a much bigger part of like the gaming industry. It's just not right now. And like no, like everyone gives it like, okay, here's what you want in your GPU review, and then like, oh yeah, here's what the ray tracing numbers look like, and when you have DLSS on and off, and that's it.
And now that AMD is doing ray tracing, those numbers do matter. Nvidia does a lot better at it.
Right.
That is something to take into consideration. I would say though, we'll see how that continues because a lot of these games have
AMD ray tracing.
NVIDIA RTX has been out for 2 years. They know how to optimize for it now. AMD is just coming out, but I expect AMD to catch up a shit ton because that's what the consoles are.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how to optimize for that real quick.
Yeah, that's where it's gonna get really interesting. Well, we got an update. Brian Del Rizzo from NVIDIA has reached out a second time to apologize and asked us to share this with you. We appreciate NVIDIA reaching out again. Look forward to resolving this issue with us in the community. We've already accepted their apology and just want to move on now. Steve, thanks for your note. I just wanted to say again how sorry I am for my original email. I overstepped my bounds, and it's as simple as that. I love seeing all the ways reviewers test and report our products. I value your contribution. Suggesting that I would withhold samples because I didn't agree with your commentary is simply inexcusable and cross the line. I failed myself, my colleagues, and the amazing community of reviewers I consider my friends. You all work so hard in service of the gaming industry. We love you. Deserve better from me. I hope you will forgive
Blah, blah,
my
blah,
mistake.
PR.
Give me the opportunity to be service of you in the future. It would be great. So when I see this furthers me thinking there's something else going on.
Yeah, no, he got mad because the cards outside of ray tracing, the cards are basically equal, or AMD's actually better in some cases, and that's that. So he didn't like that. So hey, dude, check out ray tracing. That's an important part of our cards in the future of NVIDIA.
Yeah, but his reviews
RTX
weren't any different than anyone else's reviews, which is what makes me fucking confused. Like, it has to be. I don't know.
Well, I think that goes back to the 5700 series, because they really liked the 5700 series because
maybe they just had enough or something. You think? Like, fuck this guy. Put this.
I guess. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Just because like they really liked the 5700, because it was like their entire point was ray tracing will one day be cool. There's nothing out, and the AMD card's $100 cheaper and runs better.
Yeah.
Why would you buy the NVIDIA card?
It was such a fucking crazy situation. It was at least it's resolved now, and it's all. I love NVIDIA. I'll be an NVIDIA stan.
Just the fact that he sent that email though does make you wonder how many of those emails he sent out, and like that's just a wild world that NVIDIA feels like they have to control a message
from like a, no offense to Hardware Unboxed, but they're not like the first reviewer that anyone goes to. You know what I mean? At least it's like I would understand maybe a Linus or like
they're up there for me, but yeah, they got 800,000 subs.
Yeah, it's not like a Linus or a Gamers Nexus or even like a fucking Jay's 2 cents or anything. It's like
right, they're Gamers Nexus light of going super in depth of like they're the kings of like, well, hey, we here's our initial review, and then in a month we're gonna show you here's a review of these 2 cards pitted on 100 fucking games, and here's the benchmarks.
Very odd. Well, let's not do that again, Brian Del Rizzo.
Yeah,
don't do that, because that's just like,
because they are important in their own way, because I would argue other reviewers give a better general overview and are usually seen more for those general overviews than they do. But they do the hard work of, say you care most about these 3 games or these 3 developers, they'll get you the numbers of how do those 2 cards stack up on those platforms, which no one else does.
No, that's pretty good.
They run their 8-game benchmark suite and tell you what happened. Well, they'll go in and they'll test 50 fucking games, so hey, are you a World of Tanks player or something? Like, this is what card is actually better.
Yeah, that is important. That's very important. What a crazy fucking situation. To me, it sounded like there was some personal animosity there, and it seems to have been resolved.
I mean, I hope so, because like if there isn't, then you
then it's like, even more confusing.
Right? Like, what they send hardware unboxed? Like, did they tell them to get fucked? Or like, and the weirdest part too is like, oh, we'll still give you drivers, but you have to get the card from EVGA or some shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's so weird. It was just like, hey man, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I think it was
literally,
personal.
we don't like your reviews, so you have to get it from somewhere else, but we'll give you drivers.
Yeah, because we don't like your reviews, even though your reviews are pretty much exactly similar to everyone else in the industry's reviews. We're not gonna give you cards, but we'll still give you the drivers. See you later. Get fucked. Everyone else agrees with us and not you.
Yeah.
Really odd.
Oh, by the way, your entire peer community hates you.
Yeah, everyone else is right except you. You're the only
right.
But
even though the entire rest of the community says fuck DLSS, but yeah, dude. I mean, not fuck DLSS, fuck ray tracing. It doesn't matter yet, but yeah, sure.
You know, I do
Bigger
like
video.
the apology email. I wish we had a little bit more insight into why he sent it in the first place. But I mean, it does say like I just really fucked up and sorry. It wasn't anything like. I bet you Jensen was on his ass, dude. Get out there right now.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't published the full thing, but apparently he gave it to Linus, and Linus read it out on WAN show.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Okay, the entire
Linus
thing.
went
Okay,
insane. Linus went crazy. Exploded. It was awesome.
I'll have to check it out because yeah, that's wild to me. I didn't hear about that, but that's like why?
Yeah. These companies, man. All right, let's wrap it up. Long show, good show, lots of stuff. Cyberpunk, listen, don't play it unless you have a 1080 Ti or better. Don't play it on console. Just wait. I
I
promise
don't
you
even
it'll be worth it.
don't even bother with the 1080 Ti. If you haven't bought a 30 series graphics card, just wait until you do.
Yeah, do that. Wait until you
Like
do.
that's the easiest way because otherwise I have to go in and break it down of like you need a 1660 Ti 2060 minimum for 1080p 60. You need a 2080 Super or a 3070 for 1080p Ultra minimum. 1440p 60p is around there as well. And you need at least the 3080 to get 1440p 60.
Yeah.
4K, don't even worry about it. Yeah, 3090 chugs at it. There you go.
Yeah.
Basically, if you don't have a graphics card from the last 2 years that isn't at least $300, wait.
Yeah.
And even then, if you do, you can still only play it at 1080p 60 medium settings.
Yeah. Pretty much. It still looks good though. It still looks good.
Oh, yeah, no, it
I
still
would
looks-
argue that you should wait too. I would argue that
It
you
still
should
looks
wait.
great, but like don't deny yourself that experience of if
You're not
planning
missing
on-
anything right now because it's still fucking a mess. Just
Right.
let them clean it
Right.
up. Next month it'll be better. You should be able to get cards next month a little bit easier.
You're not missing out at this point of just like don't deny your if you are planning on buying a new $400-$500 GPU or more of these next gen GPUs.
Don't taint your
just wait.
experience. Don't taint
Yeah.
your experience because you're gonna get mad at it. And I'm telling you, it's not worth getting mad at because it is a tremendous game. It's not Witcher 3, which sucks that I have to say that. But, all right. Thank you all for listening. Every Tuesday, we should have a show. Wait, did we say we're going to do a show next week or no?
I don't think we are.
No show next week. No show the
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone.
29th. We'll be back January 5th. That's when we do a show with a brand new podcast format. I'm going to come up with a really good format. And we're going to stick to it. It's going to be clean and concise. And you're going to have a great show. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.